5.
Bank is Indiana's largest private family-owned bank. Since 1895, the Schrag family has built a legacy of success through business and by servicing the communities of northern and central Indiana. Center's not-for-sale promise pledges to the communities we serve that we will continue to preserve independent banking in Indiana for generations to come. Center Bank is proud to serve the communities of northern and central Indiana. Please visit Center.com for more information, and don't forget to like us on Facebook, member FDIC.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Regional Radio Sports Network. We are broadcasting live and in living color from Jenkins Stadium here inside Richard C. Patterson Field. Welcome to Bethel Baseball. I am Paul Condry. Glad that you can join us here this afternoon as we take another trip through the Crossroads League alongside Hall of Fame sports writer Steve Kroc. Glad that he could join us here for today's matinee featuring the Huntington University Foresters, under the direction of Hall of Famer Mike Frame. His club coming in with a record of 10 wins and 7 losses overall on the season. Sitting right now in second place percentage points behind Mount Vernon in the Crossroads League. They are 6-2. And of course they're facing off against the home team, the Bethel Pilots. The Pilots at 8-12 and dead even at 500. In league play at 4-4. If you take a look at Crossroads League baseball this afternoon, along here on this 25th of March, Spring Arbor is at Grace. Marion will be traveling to Fort Wayne to take on St. Francis, and Indiana Wesleyan is on the road in Mount Vernon, Ohio to take on Mount Vernon Nazarene University, and of course our game right here. Mount Vernon right now in league play, sitting atop the leaderboard. They've won 80% of their contests. They're 4-1. Huntington at 6-2. Marion ranked, not ranked, but 4-3 on the season. Taylor, albeit the fact that they're 23-8 overall, however, they have stumbled their toes a couple times in league play. Matter of fact, 4 times. They're right in the middle of the pack with the Pilots at 4-4. St. Francis at 3-3. Grace at 3-4. Indiana Wesleyan at 2-3. Goshen at 3-6, and Spring Arbor at 2-5. Glad you can join us here for our broadcast. Once again, 45 degrees sunny, northeast winds at about 15 miles per hour. But once again, 327 down the left field line, 321 down the right field line. Straight away center. The big blue monster sits out there, 385. Glad to be joined now by Hall of Fame sports writer Steve Kroc. Steve, once again, we're finally getting in a situation where we've had back-to-back games where we have not had a cancellation or a delay. Just like, can you pinch me? Is spring finally here?
I think maybe that it is. You just don't play games in the consecutive order that they're scheduled. This just doesn't happen in
Unless,
Northern
of course,
Indiana.
you live south of the Mason-Dixon line.
Like way south of the Mason-Dixon line. I think they run into this kind of stuff in Kentucky and in Tennessee. But it is really good to see. There's lots of sunshine out there. It's a little bit breezy, but it's a beautiful day.
Once again, across the way, the Bethel softball team will be in action against Grace this afternoon. The Hall of Famer, Matt Copsey, on the other side of the microphone over there. Of course, a special thanks to Andrew Bowen, his good work here to get both of those telecasts up for you. Once again, for those of you who are listening on the audio portion here on our Stretch channel here on rsn.com, of course, they also have the Bethel YouTube channel, which features this afternoon's game. I spent some time with Mike Frame and talked about this past Saturday's game. A split between the Pilots and the Foresters. Monday matinee here today at Jenkins Stadium. Mike Frame joining us here on the pregame show prior to today's game against the Bethel Pilots here in game number 3 of this home series for the Pilots. Mike, let's just kind of reflect back on the double dip on Saturday. I thought both teams really competed pretty hard. Hitting wasn't certainly at the premium, but I thought both starting pitchers for both ball clubs really competed, and I think as you guys as coaches really like to see those kind of things.
Yeah, it was all 4 kids, threw the ball well. It was good to see Corey out there. Obviously, I followed Corey's career and through high school, so it was good to see him out there and have some success, and he threw the ball well. And I think both teams are probably a work in progress at the plate, and so, we try to manufacture some things by running quite a bit, and that's just a part of our offense. So.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. You guys are nearing the 50 stolen base department. That's a lot of stolen bases in 18 games.
Yeah, it is, and it's just, I mean, it's something that we literally work on every day. Just like you hit, you do other things. It's a part of who we are, and it's not we've just tried to run on everybody we've played, and like I said, we spend a lot of time on it, and it's just kind of in our DNA right now.
When you look back on a couple years ago when you had that great 1 through 9 defensive and offensive unit, the team that I thought that probably got a little bit hosed down in Alabama, if I recall. But when you look at that kind of group and the group that you have right now, was that group, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember that group running as much.
No, we didn't run a whole lot, and we had a lot of, as you said, we could hit 1 through 9, and so you just kind of wait for somebody to to get into one, and that seemed to happen pretty regularly for us throughout the year. But you got to look at your team and say, okay, this is what we can do, this is what we can't do, and you got to find a way to create some offense with what you got.
All right, for a guy who grew up in Hagerstown, Indiana, to be in the position where you're at right now, just tell us what it's like as you continue on with making the difference in the lives of young men.
Oh, well, I'm extremely blessed. The journey that brought me from, first going to Alabama to play college baseball to Huntington and then continuing as a coach, I feel like it's what God wants me to do. And I don't say that flippantly. I really believe that. And so I feel extremely blessed just with the young men that we've had, with the coaching staff that we've had, and, being able to coach that and now coach with that, and the same with Andy, my son-in-law. I just feel incredibly blessed. And, people today in this day and age don't go somewhere and invest their life there. That used to be something that people did a lot. And so I'm a little bit of a unique situation, with that. I don't know, maybe nobody else wants me, so I just stay at Huntington. I don't know, but I feel really blessed.
Once again, thanks for your time and great success to you and the Foresters.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Once again, we'll be back with more right after this on Regional Radio Sports. Once again, thanks for joining us here on Regional Radio Sports. And thanks to Mike Frame, who was most recently inducted into the Northeast Indiana Baseball Hall of Fame. Earlier today, I spent some time with the skipper of the Pilots, now marking down year number 16 in a Bethel blue uniform here today. Matinee afternoon here at Bethel College. The Pilots in action today against Huntington University. Pilots and Foresters split on Saturday. Seth Zartman joining us here on the Seth Zartman pregame show. Seth, first of all, let's just kind of reflect back on Saturday's twin bill. It was clearly Pilots were not intimidating. Pilots, in my opinion, I thought were the better team for both games, despite the fact of losing the first game.
Yeah, I felt the same way, Paul. I felt like our guys came out well-focused and ready to go and really competed hard all day long. And I, too, even told our team after the day was over that I felt like we were the better ball club that day. Just a few detailed things, focused things in that first game we let get away from us, and ultimately end up losing that one by 1 run. But to watch us come back and keep fighting in the second game, and really we were dead until the 6th inning.
Sure.
And although our pitching and defense, we kept getting out of situations, really dug in and did a job. And but it was a great day to come out, fight and get that victory. So to come out of Saturday with a split, got to feel good about it right now, and we get a chance today to get it done here and complete the series.
Well, let's take one more time back to last Saturday's games. And let's just talk about starting pitching. Because starting pitching, I tell you what, I thought both Rasmussen and Goodrich gave you some quality pitches. And once again, you take Rasmussen out. I know he got right to around the 105 pitch count, so you weren't going to, push the edge of that envelope, especially with the weather being what it was like.
Right, yeah, absolutely. In his particular situation, coming off a little bit of shorter recovery time from pitching earlier in the week against Goshen, we really felt like he did a great job of competing and keeping us right where we needed to be at that point. But, we were just, like you said, at that cutoff line where we needed to get him out of there, and really thought, Sullivan Swingley coming in behind him, obviously, did a great job and threw pitches and there. But and you look at Corey. Corey pitched really well in that game one. I mean, he competed. He really had him befuddled. And again, in that sixth inning where we kind of, we had some focus things that didn't go our way, and we let some things get away from us. When you look at that game, I mean, that really was what done us in. But really proud of those guys, of the way they pitched and competed, and to watch our guys respond in that way is really good.
It seems to me as the league play has gotten underway, and of course we're only talking about 8 games, but if you look at your pre-league fielding percentage, pitching percentage, as well as the hitting percentage, all have gone up in key situations as league play. Now, I don't know if that's a focus, if that's you getting set in your everyday 9, guys kind of knowing some of the people who you're going to be competing with. Can you speak to that?
Sure. Well, I think, early in the season, I think you're talking about timing, getting back outdoors, trying to really work, their recognition levels, at that point, because it is a huge difference when you go from inside to out, there. So I think in that early season, you see some of those numbers are low just because we haven't been on the natural surface for a while. We haven't been on those situations. But even though through that, as we lead up to league play, it is a constant focus for us, how we handle our at-bats, quality at-bats. One of our big focuses is on base percentage. We got to get guys on base. And so we continue to hammer that. And even when we come in for our drill work, it's a constant focus on those certain aspects of our hitting and our approach and what the game situation is. But I think it's guys getting more comfortable, and and a lot of it too is that competition level rises to another level when you're playing league, and so I think our guys are really starting to get comfortable and settle into what they can do best.
Looking across the field at Mike's team, one thing when we saw this on Saturday, they're going to run. They've got 48 stolen bases in their 17 baseball games. So make no mistake about it, this wasn't the team from a couple, 3 years ago where they didn't have to run. This team has to manufacture runs because their batting average as a team, certainly not where Mike's teams have been in the past. Realistically, they're only batting 246. I remember teams that were batting over 300 when the time they come into this ballpark.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's one of the areas probably I felt like Saturday we did not do a very good job of was controlling the running game. And we do have to do a much better job of that today and not letting them get into scoring position in those key situations. But that's exactly right. They are looking to do that more, and their offense is not the offense they've had the last 2-3 years. So we have to be better prepared for that today with what we're doing out there in our communications and our pitchers and catchers and really our looks. I felt like a lot of times on Saturday we didn't mix our looks well enough, so we got to do that well today, and we got to cut down some of the freebies, some walks in key situations. Getting that first man out of the inning is hugely important and not putting them on base, and we got to stay away from that. But if we can do that, I think we'll put ourselves in a good position today.
All right, Bobek's on the hill today. Talk about what kind of pitches he's going to have to throw. And when we get into those marquee situations where he needs a key strikeout or a key play here or a double play ball here, what are we going to see from him?
Yeah, well, Andrew does a nice job of mixing his fastball, curveball, and changeup. And I think Andrew really loves that changeup when it's looking for, a key out to get a guy off balance. So I think you're going to see some of that today. Now, he'll throw that curveball as well in key situations, but the changeup is really what, is a success for him, if in fact he set up a hitter well in that situation. But really from Andrew today is what he's been doing for us to this point is go and compete. He mixes his pitches well, he locates well, and we need that today. And if he can bring that today, we give ourselves a good chance.
All right, that's Seth Zartman. Let's go on down here. We're going to have our public address as well as our prayers. So we welcome you here to Bethel Baseball.
Lord, thank you for the opportunity that we have to honor you through the game of baseball. We ask you to protect the players as they compete, keep them free from injury, and help them to display their talents in a way that honors you. Help us all to encourage and cheer with proper perspective in mind. Thank you for what you are doing and what you have done in our lives. In your name we pray, amen. We ask that you remain standing as we honor America and those who serve and protect it with the playing of our national anthem.
Welcome once again here on Regional Radio Sports. I'm Paul Condry along with Steve Krog. Glad you could join us here. Also, Landon Kaufman hanging out with us here, making sure that we behave ourselves throughout the course of the next couple hours, but certainly glad that he is here with us. He'll be charting all the things that we need to chart and then some this afternoon. Taking a look at our starting lineups. First of all, for the visitors from Huntington University, they'll get the party started with senior Donovan Clark. The center fielder will be hitting in that leadoff spot. Of course, he's one of those steady seniors for head coach Mike Frayne. The number 2 spot, it will be Colin Landrum. He wears jersey number 1. He's a freshman who hails from Huntington North High School. In the number 3 spot will be Daniel Lichty, who is a sophomore from Denfield, Ontario. He'll be in that third base position. And so once again, it'll be Clark, Landrum, and Lichty going 1, 2, 3. The middle of the order features Austin Pritchard. He'll be in that first base position. Andrew Natividad will be the designated hitter in the number 5 spot, and Jacob Hansen rolls out into that number 6 spot. So once again, Pritchard, Natividad, and Hansen going 4, 5, and 6. In the bottom of the order, it'll be Satchel Wilson playing shortstop. Ian McCutcheon will be patrolling second base, and the young man behind the plate wearing jersey number 6 today will be Gustavo Bonilla, who hails from Yunacos, Puerto Rico. Taking a look now at the Bethel College Pilots defensively. Infield third to first features Jake Wilburn, the senior third baseman. Sophomore Luke Adams at short. Second baseman, it will be C.M. Laffey, the senior, and Mike Wathier, the junior. Once again, Wilburn, Adams, Laffey, and Wathier, the infield third to first. The outfield features Sully Swingley, the freshman in left field, Kawambi Moss, the junior, in center field, and Jake Shalaski, the freshman, will be in right field. The battery today in this game will be number 4, Andrew Bobeck, the senior, 3-1 on the season with an ERA of 3.72, and the man behind the plate, junior Mason Love. He wears jersey number 16. Lared Solomon will be behind the plate, and Corey Stewart will be the youngster in the infield. There we have it as we get ready to get underway here from Jenkins Stadium on the campus of Bethel College. First pitch coming your way is a strike at 3:01 in the afternoon. Welcome to Bethel Pilots Baseball on Regional Radio Sports. Pilots decked out in those home white pants and blue jerseys with the Pilots written in italics along the front. The Foresters of Huntington University decked out in the gray slacks with one wide green pinstripe, if you will, and the Foresters decked out in the black jerseys with numbers in gray trimmed in white, and of course the dark green batting helmets. 1 and 2 now the count here to Donovan Clark as Andrew Bobeck working here today. 3-1 record, as we alluded to just moments ago. 45 degrees, sunny. Northeast winds at 15 miles an hour. Now the count at 2-2. Taking a look at Bobeck, this will be his 7th start of the, sixth start of the season. Overall, this will be his 7th game. 29 1/3 innings pitched. Now the count at 3-2. Giving up 19 runs, 12 earned runs, 10 walks, 18 strikeouts. Teams are batting a paltry .224. He has one wild pitch, has not hit a batter this year. Here's a pitch, and that'll be ball 4. So he walks the leadoff man to start the game. And that will bring up Landrum. Colin Landrum, the freshman, 5'9", 170-pounder. Colin wearing jersey number 1. We'll bat here from the left side. Landrum on the year. A .214 hitter. Playing in a 17 game. This is his 15th start. And that'll be strike 1 to Landrum. Daniel Lichty on deck for HU. For the first time this year, the Foresters, here's a bunt attempt down the third base line. Fielded nicely. Here's a throw across the diamond. Runner takes a wide turn at second base. And that'll be a sacrifice bunt. We'll call that 5-3 on the putout for the first out. As Donovan Clark, who was dangerous at second base, and I say that because he has stolen 13 of 14 attempts at second base now. We saw them on Saturday, the Foresters, run with great precision. Now batting here from the right side, Lichty, the third baseman.
Donovan Clark began his collegiate athletic career at IU on the football team. Had a back injury, and he decided to transfer to Huntington to play baseball.
Here's the southpaw's delivery, a little high. Now the count at 1-0. Daniel Lichty on the year has started all 18 games for the Foresters. Only 5 Foresters. Now check that now. Only 4 Foresters have started every game for Mike Frame. With Adam Rozier not starting, here's a runner off and going, and that'll be a stolen base. And it didn't help much, the fact that Lichty, who was batting here on the right side, never got out of the way. Made a difficult throw for Mason Love, even if he was able to get the ball out of the mitt. So a stolen base.
Clark got a big jump.
Yes, indeed. Now a runner in scoring position here with a fly ball. Will be able to bring it as the wind is moving from left to right. Here's a pitch a little high outside. Now to count it 2-1. 1 down here. No score. Top of the first inning. Foresters in search of their 11th win. The Pilots in search of their 9th of the season. There's a ball sliced off to the right and out of play. Now the count is at 2-2. Lichty on the year, a .340 hitter with 11 RBIs, a slugging percentage of .472, and an on-base percentage of .486. Now for Donovan Clark, that was his 14th stolen base in 15 attempts, and that'll be a strikeout. So a nice piece of pitching there for Andrew Bobeck, and that records his first strikeout. And that's a key strikeout there, Steve.
Yes, Bobeck can get out of trouble here if he can get this batter.
Pilots snapped the Foresters' 4-game winning streak on Saturday. Here's a runner off and looked like he was going to try to steal home. Well, I tell you what, he is fleet of foot is Donovan Clark. We're in jersey number 5, prepped at Fort Wayne Southside High School. Here's a pitch just outside. Now the count at 2-0. Pritchard, a .250 hitter. We're in jersey number 26. Hails from Riverside, California. Went to Patriot High School. Transferred in from Santa Ana College. There's a pitch a little high. Now the count at 3-0 to Pritchard. Pritchard starting his 9th consecutive ball game. Here's the 3-0 count with 2 down, and that is right down Main Street for a strike. Now the count at 3-1. On deck for Huntington, Natividad, Andrew Natividad. Now, and there's a base on balls. So some control issues here in the first frame for Andrew Bobeck. Bobeck, who came into today's contest with 10 walks. Now is up that to 12 here already. Runners hit the corners, no score. 2 down, top of the first inning. Kawambi Moss, straightaway center, medium depth. Shalaski, the right fielder, shaded towards the center field area as the right-hander Natividad. There's a quick toss over to first base. Pilots have to be careful here with Clark on third base. They're going to have a meeting at the mound. What do you think the meeting is about, Steve?
Well, they're not going to talk about where they go and eat tonight. I know that much. I don't think they're going to worry so much about the runner on first base. It's Clark, who's 90 feet from home plate. He's the one you got to be concerned with.
No question about it. Once again, number 9 will step through the turnstiles here. Natividad. Orange, California native. Went to Valencia High School. And he takes ball 1. Once again, runners at the corners. Now the question is will they concern themselves if there's even a remote opportunity here on the double steal? Bobek, the left-hander, delivers. Ball popped up, straight up. The third baseman comes in, and the first baseman makes the catch. Boy, Wilburn and Wathier, at the last moment, Wathier jumps in and makes the catch in the sky-high pop-up to retire Natividad. So the Foresters, they will strand 2. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no Foresters left on base. We'll be back with more college baseball live from Jenkins Stadium. After Andrew Bobek works through, throws 20 pitches. That's a lot for one inning, especially to get things started if you're on a 100-pitch count. We'll be back with more after this.
There's always a moment of truth where it's either put up or shut up. We were yelling our hearts out. Even in our weakness, even in our pain, we continued to push. I don't know where the pain went to, but all I know is that I had what it took. I am a United States Marine.
PFC Darrell Willis serves his country as a Marine. Will you? Visit Marines.com or call 1-800-MARINES.
Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. Paul County along with Steve Craw. Scheduled to be back with you again tomorrow here on Regional Radio Sports and, of course, our Bethel Sports channel on YouTube, as the IU South Bend Titans will be traveling across the county to take on the Pilots. It'll be fun to be able to hang out with Matt Copsey, as well as my good friend Tom Norris will be joining us in the broadcast booth tomorrow. Now taking a look at this Bethel lineup as they will bat for the first time. They're going to be matched up against Mason Shinneberry, the junior, a right-hander, 2-1 on the season with an ERA of 5.20. Defensively, it's Hanson, Clark, and Landrum, the outfield, left, center, and right. Here's the first pitch, a little high, now to Jake Wilburn. Infield third to first features Daniel Lichty, Satchel Wilson, Ian McCutcheon, and Austin Pritchard. And Shinneberry and Bonilla are your battery, as the count is 2-0. Once again, it's Wilburn, Dis, and Moss going 1-2-3 here in the top of the first frame. Here's a pitch on the outside corner. Now the count at 2-1. Wilburn on the year, a .379 hitter. He golfs one off to the left, and now the count at 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch just underway here in the bottom of the first inning. No score. Pilots taking a look at some of their team numbers. Number 5 in the Crossroads League in fielding since league play began. Here's the one hopper back to the pitcher. Throws a laser beam across the diamond. And that will be 1 up and 1 down. 1-3 on the putout. And that'll bring up Brandon Dis. Dis, the junior, .259 hitter, starting in his 17th game of the year. This will be his 55th at bat. 8 runs, 14 hits, and 7 RBIs. He's batting from the left side, and he takes ball 1. Mason Love is 4th in the Crossroads League in RBIs per ball game, as this pitch is off the mark. Now the count at 2-0. Alex McCutcheon, who we saw yesterday, is number 2 in the Crossroads League in ERA. As the Count is now 3-0. DJ Moore, who was the loser in the nightcap yesterday, is number 3 in the Crossroads League, as that'll be a strike on the 3-1 offering. Mount Vernon and Nazarene off to a good start in league play, as well as here's a swing and a miss. Now to count at 3-2. 3-2 pitch, one down, no score. Ground ball. Second baseman gobbles it up, throws from his knees in a bang-bang play. Outstanding defensive play by the freshman Ian McCutcheon. You just don't get any better than that. I don't know if they teach you how to do that at Huntington North High School, but give credit where credit is due. That was a gem.
Yep, that's some range there.
And that'll bring up the most athletic player on the Pilots team. That is Kawambi Moss. Moss, a 6'2", 195-pound junior from Springfield, Ohio. Came in from Kalamazoo Community College, and he's ahead in the count 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Both these pitchers pitching with reckless abandon. They must have early dates.
Well, aggression is good. They're just not finding the strike zone as much as they would like to.
Moss does the Texas two-step as he backs out of the batter's box after that one was in on his chin. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That one fist off to the right and out of play as it hits the top of the Bethel dugout. That'll even the card at 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, no score. Single game today. Here's the ball, flares to the right. Right fielder's got some room, and he'll make the play in foul territory. An easy inning for Mason Shinneberry as he sends them up 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left in the first frame for junior Mason Shinneberry. 17 pitches for him, and we're back with more Bethel baseball live on Regional Radio Sports after this. Hi, this is Paul Condry of the Regional Radio Sports Network. That may be my professional title, but did you know that I'm also the son of a U.S. Navy World War II veteran and the proud father of a United States Marine? Let me share with you something very close to my heart. It's called the Semper Fi Fund, and its program America's Fund, which provides immediate lifetime support for post-9/11 wounded, critically ill, and injured members of the U.S. Armed Forces, veterans, and their families to ease recovery and transition back home to their communities. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. The basic idea that drives these efforts is simple. For as much as our heroes have sacrificed, they deserve the best care and support available in their hour of need, whenever it may occur. The Semper Fi Fund, a 4-star charity and an A+ rating, has served over 16,000 members since 2004. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. For more information, visit them online at www.semperfifund.org. Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports, broadcasting live from Richard C. Patterson Field at Jenkem Stadium. A sun-soaked afternoon. Winds coming in at about 15 miles an hour. I think our umpires, Larry Solomon and Corey Stewart, should be pretty comfortable out there underneath the blue skies and the sunshine. Tomorrow's game against IU South Bend should be even better. We're looking at 55. Double nickel tomorrow with winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. So it should be a fun day today. Tomorrow at the ballpark. Leading it off will be Jacob Hansen. Hansen, the left fielder. Here's the pitch. This one way outside. Now the count at 1-1. Hansen on the year. A .571 batting average. This is only his 6th game of the year. He golfs one off to the right and out of play. Now the count at 1-2. Due up in the inning, it will be Hansen, Wilson, and McCutcheon, respectively. Here's a pitch outside corner. Put a backwards K in that scorebook there, Steve Craw. That's a strikeout. That's the second ring him up for senior hurler Andrew Bobeck. That's out number 1 here in the frame.
Threw it on the outside corner and locked him up.
Now to bring up Satchel Wilson. Satchel, who hails from Anderson, Indiana, went to LaPel High School. Ground ball, one hopper comes up to the third baseman, Wilburn, throws a beat across the way to Wathier, and that's an easy 5-3 put out on one pitch. As Wilson is retired. And that'll bring up Ian McCutcheon. McCutcheon, talented freshman from Huntington North High School, 6 foot, 175 pounder. Be batting from the right side. Pitch a little high from Bobeck. They're kind of 1-0. If you look at this Huntington roster, pretty young. Only 2 seniors in the everyday lineup that's pitching here today, or playing here today, excuse me. 2 freshmen, a sophomore, 4 juniors, and 2 seniors for HU. Swing and a miss. Bobeck put it right up in the wheelhouse, and nothing even remotely close. Now they're kind of 1-2. Here's a pitch outside. Now they're kind of 2-2. On deck for
Clark
the...
and Navidad are those seniors, and they haven't even been with the program for 4 years, so that makes them even younger in my mind.
Gustavo Bonilla on deck for HU. Pitch inside. Bobeck wanted that one. Number 4 steps off the hill there and says, let me think about that. So now the count full at 3-2. Third time here in the first 8 batters he's gone full count on. No score. Top of the second inning. 2 down, nobody on. Number 8 hitter and swing and a miss. They pulled the string on that one. 2 strikeouts in the frame for Andrew Bobeck. In the inning for Huntington, no runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base after throwing 20 pitches in the first frame. He battles back and he throws 12 here in the second frame. And as we move to the bottom of the second inning, we're scoreless with the Pilots coming to bat. And we'll do that right after this on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
They say growth is a journey and not a destination. At Teachers Credit Union, we agree. Helping our communities grow has been our mission ever since we began our journey in 1931. And supporting our members' growth has helped us to become Indiana's largest credit union. And we're just getting started. Whatever you want to grow, Teachers Credit Union is ready to help. Visit a branch or tcunet.com today. Teachers Credit Union deposits are federally insured by the NCUA, and we are an equal housing opportunity.
Welcome back here to Richard C. Patterson Field. Sun-soaked afternoon in Mishawaka, Indiana. The 10-7 Foresters of Huntington University, 6-2 in the competitive Crossroads League, taking on the Bethel Pilots at 8-12 and 4-4 in league. Taking a look once again more on the year for Mason Shinneberry. Shinneberry, 27 2/3 innings pitched starting today. He's given up 30 hits, 18 runs, 16 earned runs, 9 walks, 27 strikeouts, 7 doubles. Has yet to give up a triple, but he leads the team, giving up 5 long balls. Teams are batting .330 against him. He has 1 wild pitch, has not hit a batter. And leading it off for the Pilots will be the Pilot catcher, Mason Love. Batting here from the left side. And that'll be strike 1 to him. Here's one in the dirt. Now the count at 1-1 to Love, the junior catcher. Love, who hails from Monmouth, Illinois. 6'3", 180-pounder. Transferred in from IU South Bend. He rockets one to right field. The right fielder came in on the ball. Ball goes over his head. Love will take the wide turn, and he'll be in safely at second base with a stand-up double. So the first hit off Shinneberry was hit on the line, And the right fielder, the freshman Kyle Landrum, instead of going backwards, came in one step, and by the time he did, with the velocity of the baseball, it just went way over his head, and the Pilots have the leadoff man aboard here to start the second frame. And that'll bring up Luke Adams, the sophomore. Mason Love now with 5 doubles on the year. Shinneberry delivers. Pitch inside corner for a strike. Adams wasn't ready for the heater there. Adams, a 5'9", 155-pounder from Crown Point, Indiana. Here's a pitch. Missing the mark. Now they're kind of 1-1. Runner at second. No score here in the bottom of the second. Pilots with the runner in scoring position for the first time this afternoon. Here's a fastball inside, missing the mark. Now they're kind of 2-1. Adams on the season, a .340 hitter. He has started 16 games for the Pilots this year. 17 hits, got 7 runs scored. They got a man picked off now. Pitcher throws it, and now the back here to the third baseman. And just like that, the leadoff double goes for naught. Steve, I hope you were able to track down what the outcome was.
That was a 165 pickoff play. Love got caught between there, threw it to the shortstop, but threw it to third baseman, applied the tag, so that's 1 out in the second for the Bethel Pilots.
165 officially on the, and now the bases are empty. And here's a pitch foul back here. Went right through the mid of the catcher from Adams. Now they're kind of 2-2. Nothing like a rally squelcher there and a bad base running error. Here's the 2-2 pitch, breaking ball. Dribbles off to the left and foul. Mike Wathier on deck. Adams, as I was alluding to, on base percentage of .431, has 1 RBI and 19 total bases. He golfs one here towards the Bethel dugout. We saw the dance moves of Mike Wathier over here after that line drive into the dugout area. The right-handed Shinneberry delivers. Pitch inside. Now the count moves to 3-2. Luke Adams. Here's a pitch inside. Nearly hit him in the chin.
Oh, bridge.
And that'll be a base on balls. Now what could be really an exciting inning for the Pilots. They could have runners at first and second with nobody out. As that'll bring up Mike Wathier. Wathier, who was 2 for 3 in the Pilot win in the last game of the doubleheader after an 0 for 4 in the first game of the series. And he takes ball 1. Jake Shalaski, the number 7 hitter in Seth Zartman's lineup, is waiting on deck. 1 down, no score. 1-0 opportunity here from Mike Wathier. Wathier swings and misses at the high heater. That was right up around the breastbone there. Nothing even remotely close to catching up with that heater. Now they're kind of 1-1. Good lead by Adams here at first base. Pitch inside. Now the count at 2-1. Pilots have only stolen 25 bases on the year. Their opponents have ran for 37. Here's the right-hander deliver, and that pitch is right around the ankles. And now they're kind of 3-1. I think if you're the Pilots, you just need to make sure that Mason Shinneberry can locate the plate and quit swinging at bad pitches. Here's the 3-1 offering with one down here in the bottom of the second of a scoreless game. There it is. Ball 4. Once again, don't want to continue to belabor the fact, but the matter is, the bases should be loaded right now with nobody out. But instead, runners at first and second with one down in the inning. And that'll bring up Shalaski. Jake Shalaski, the freshman. Another Crown Point native. The right fielder. Here's a pitch, swing and a miss. That one was high as well. Shalaski on the season. A .383 hitter. This is his 48th at bat of the year. He's got 7 runs, 18 hits. And there's a pitch on the outside. That's the best pitch of the inning for Shinneberry. Shalaski with 4 doubles, 1 triple, 8 RBIs, a slugging percentage of .511, and on base at .463. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt. Nice job on the butterfly save there by Gustavo Bonilla. Now the count at 1-2. The outfielder Donovan Clark is shaded about 15 feet to the right of the second base bag. Here's a pitch inside. Here's a toss down to first base. Runner back. The count now moves to 2-2. From being in the 0-2 hole, he's worked the count even at 2-2. Let's see what Jake Shalaski can do. With one down, runners at first and second. The right-hander delivers. This one a little high. Now the count at 3-2. The pitch count continues to balloon for junior Mason Shinneberry here in the second inning. So the payoff pitch is here at 3-2. There's a pickoff attempt here at second base. Shortstop McCutcheon was flirting with him right there about 3 feet from the bag. From the stretch, here's the pitch. Ball golfed off to the right and out of play. He remains alive. 3-2, the 6th pitch against Shalaski now. On deck for BC, Sully Swingley. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Right-hander delivers. Strike 3 call. Nice pitch there by Mason Shinneberry. His first strikeout of the day, and an important one there. That'll bring up freshman Sully Swingley. Swingley, who was in his 16th game, 14th start, batting .135. Has 6 RBIs batting here from the left side. His first pitch to him is ball 1. Now, if you're Mason Shinneberry, you just can't allow this to go any further. The next 2 batters are batting .135 and .106 respectively. Just throw the ball across the plate and make sure that somebody hits it where they ain't. Runners at first and second with 2 down. There's a pitch a little low. Now the count at 2-0. Those last 2 pitches, Steve, he just aimed the ball instead of throwing it like he did against Shalaski, the last 2 pitches to Shalaski. 2-0 look. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 3. Once again, trying to paint those corners. Now, if you're Shalaski, you got to be, or Swingley, excuse me, you got to be taken all the way here now. The 3-0 delivery. And that's right down Main Street for a strike. Now the count at 3-1. Shinneberry, who threw 17 pitches in the first inning, is well over 20 here in this inning already. Here's a pitch. Golf off to the right, and left, excuse me, and out of play. He's gone full count on 3 of the last 4 batters.
Well, the runners are going to be going now with 3-2 and 2 outs. So Swingley could put the ball in play, might have something happen here.
Here's the pitch. Strike 3 called. Backwards K in the scorebook. And the bottom of the order fails the Pilots again. And in the inning, no runs, 1 hit. There were no errors. A pair of blue jerseys remain on the base pass. And for Mason Shinneberry, pitched himself out of a jam in the worst way, despite the fact that he threw 30 pitches. Wow, in 1 inning. Make it 29 officially. And at the end of 2 complete, we're tied 0-0. We'll be back with more after this.
Never give in. Never give in. Never, never, never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense.
Winston Churchill's immortal words stirred an entire country in the face of certain defeat. Today, these words give each of us the courage to reach for our own victories.
Never give in. Never give in. Never, never, never.
Commitment. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. Paul Coundry along with Hall of Fame sports writer Steve Krog. Glad that you can join us here from Bethel College. 45 degrees, northeast winds. That game start was at about 15 miles an hour as the Old Glory is moving from left to right from our vantage point. No score as we move to the visitors' half of the third. Forsters in with a record of 10-7, Pilots at 8-12. Andrew Bobeck, the left-hander, delivers, and that one's fouled back. Here to the leadoff man, the number 9 hitter in Mike Frame's lineup, Gustavo Bonilla. Bonilla, who came into today's game batting 167, on-base percentage of 318. He has 1 RBI and 3 total bases, and he fouls one back again, and that's now 0-2 for Bobeck. Bobeck, who had some control issues in the first inning, was dynamite in the second frame with only 12 pitches and a 3-up, 3-down. There's a pitch outside. Now the count at 1-2 to Gustavo Bonilla. Pilots will be back in action tomorrow here against the Indiana University South Bend Titans. There's a breaking ball getting away. Now the count at 2-2. Foresters will be back in action on the 29th on the road in Winona Lake as they're going to be taking on Grace. Bobeck delivers, and that'll be a strikeout for Bobeck as he struck out 3 of the last 4 Foresters he has encountered. So 1 down here in the third inning. As we'll move to the top of the green and gray order. Donovan Clark, who reached on a base on balls, stole a base. Clark, who had an outstanding high school football career, was on the cover of the Indiana Football Digest. There's a pitch. Now the count at 0-2. 0-2, look here now for Clark. Bobeck delivers, and he sends him down on 3 pitches. Clark not happy with the first pitch, but once again, it is Andrew Bobeck. He's in mow-down mode now, Steve.
I'd say that is 5 strikeouts, including 3 in a row.
And that'll bring up the number 2 hitter in the Forester lineup. It'll be Colin Landrum. And he takes ball 1. Landrum, who had a sacrifice bunt in the first frame, grinded out 5-3. Landrum on the year. 214 hitter. Here's a fastball for a strike. Now the count at 1-1 here with 2 down. Landrum with 3 RBIs and a total of 11 bases. On base percentage of .389. And that one beamed him. Got away from Bobeck. And with 2 down here in the top of the third, a base runner. I'll bring up the number 3 man in Coach Mike Frame's lineup, Daniel Lichty. Lichty, a .340 hitter, and he'll take strike 1 from Bobeck. I know Coach Boynton and Coach Seiler like to see those Bethel pitchers get that first strikeout up in a bat. Here's a quick toss over to first base. And easily back was Landrum. Now here's the 0-1 look. Bobeck delivers. Tries to paint the outside corner. Missed the mark. Now the count of 1-1. One pitch with 2 down. Ball fouled back here and out of play. Now the count at 1-2. Defensively, it's Wilburn, Adams, Laffey, and Wathier, the infield third to first. Shalaski, Moss, and Swingley, right, center, and left, and the battery of Bobeck and Love here in this third frame. Here's the 1-2 pitch with 2 down. Ball popped up and out of play once again off to the right. As Bobeck trying to zero in here, gets the signal from Laird Solomon, the home plate umpire, runners off and going. And here's another stolen base for the Foresters. As Colin Landrum steals a base. Second of the afternoon. And for the Foresters now, they have an eye-popping 50 stolen bases in 17 baseball games. They get 18 now. Here's Bobeck delivering a pitch a little high. Now he's looking at a 3-2 scenario. Austin Pritchard waiting in the wings here with 2 down. The left-hander Bobeck looks over his shoulder, delivers. Pitch high, ball 4. So after starting the inning with back-to-back Ks, some rough waters for Andrew Bobeck as he's beamed a guy and walked a guy. Still has yet to give up a base hit, but it's now up to Austin Pritchard. Pritchard, who's a .250 hitter with 6 RBIs, he'll be batting here from the left side. He walked in the first frame. Here's the pitch a little high. Now the count at 1-0. First time in 4 batters that he's thrown ball 1 on the first offering. Here's the 1-0 pitch with 2 down. The left-hander delivers. They got away from him again. Now the count at 2-0. Bobeck, who gives his eyes a tour around the diamond as he tries to sort out some of the details. Here's the 2-0 scenario with 2 down. Pritchard digs. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Nice pitch in on the fist by Bobeck. Now the count at 2-1. Which looked like it was going to be a easy inning based upon the first 2 batters for Bobeck. The last 2 have been nothing less than that. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. And once in a while, you just got to make him hit it. As Pritchard has missed the last 2 offerings. Pritchard, a 5'11", 190-pound junior, will step again in here from the left side. With 2 down, matched up in a 2-2 count here in the top of the third. This pitch gets away from him. And now the count at 3-2. I don't know if that was a purpose pitch to see if he could go chasing. That was not going to be the case. Now everybody will be off and running. The 3-2 look with 2 down. The left-hander Pritchard up on his toes. Here's a pitch, comes right back to the pitcher. Boback throws it over to the first baseman, Wathier, and that'll close out the third inning for Huntington University on the 1-3 putout. In the inning for Huntington University, no runs, no hits, no errors. A pair of Foresters remain on the base paths. Huntington has stranded 4 in the first 3 innings. And for Boback, his pitch count has moved up to 56 in that inning with 14. We'll be back with more Bethel baseball live from Patterson Field. No score. Home half of the third coming your way after this.
This is boot camp. This is the real thing now. You've never done anything so hard in your life. You don't understand how you can finish. It takes inner strength and desire to become a Marine. When I finished, I was like, I did it. The moment I will never forget is when this drill instructor that I admire so much comes up to me and said, "Good morning, Marine."
PFC Summer Volkman became a Marine. Can you? Visit Marines.com or call 1-800-MARINES.
Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. Paul Condry, along with Landon Kaufman and Steve Craw. As it's a beautiful day for baseball here in Mishawaka, Indiana. If you're listening to us on our RSN audio channel, or if you're watching on the YouTube, whatever the case may be, we welcome you. Defensive lineup is, it's going to be Siam Laffey, the senior second baseman, followed by junior third baseman Jake Wilburn and designated hitter junior Brandon Diss. As Laffey takes a strike, now to count it 1-1 to Laffey. Siam Laffey, who hails from Fairview, New Jersey, and he's now behind in the count at 1-2. Laffey, a 5'10", 180-pounder. Struggling at the plate here in the early stages of the campaign. He's batting 106. This is his 48th at bat. He has only 5 hits. He does have 1 triple, 3 RBIs, and a total of 7 bases. Now, he has worked the count to 3-2. Defensively, it's Hanson, Clark, and Landrum for Huntington in the outfield, left, center, and right, and that's strike 3 call. Laffey can go sit down. 3 consecutive strikeouts now for Mason Shinneberry after not striking anybody out in the top 6 of the lineup. And now Seth Zartman's prime timers will be coming up as Jake Wilburn, the junior third baseman, will step in here from the left side. Defensively, it's Lichty, Wilson, Ian McCutcheon, and Austin Pritchard, the infield third to first. And the battery is Shinneberry and Bonilla. Here's one fouled off to the left. And out of play now to count it 1-1 here to Jake Wilburn. The left-hander shows a good eye here on this third pitch. Now that counted 2-1. Wilburn, in the game the Pilots lost, was 0 for 2 in the first game of the series. Came back and was 0 for 4 in the nightcap. Now he's seen the count move to 3-1 as that last pitch from Shinneberry missed the mark. Here's a pitch a little high as Jake Wilburn will pick up a base on balls with 1 out here. Good eye by the junior third baseman. And that'll bring up Brandon Diss, the junior designated hitter. Diss, who was robbed by a great play by the second baseman the last time around. Dis, who was 1 for 3 in the first game in the series. That pitch misses the mark. Fouled that up with a 1 for 3 in the second game of the series. So far here today, he's 0 for 1. Runner at first with 1 down. No score here. Bottom of the third from Jenkins Stadium. Compare the Pilot numbers and running the base paths compared to the Foresters. The Pilots with 25 stolen bases. Huntington have doubled them up exactly now with 50. Here's a quick toss down. Gets away from the first baseman, but ricochets towards the second baseman. So the runner, Jake Wilburn, will have to stay on the base path.
Huntington came into the game with 2.82 stolen bases per game. That ranked 4th in the country.
Well, that has been Mike Frame's MO, as he mentioned to us on the pregame show. I asked him about that. Here's the pitch by the right-hander, Shinneberry. That's drilled down the right field line, and that will be a fair ball. Runner's going to take the wide turn, and he'll stop at third. That'll be nope, they're going to say that ball was foul. A late call by the home plate umpire. Well, he tattooed that one. Outside of the hit by Mason Love, that may be the hardest hit ball of the afternoon for the team wearing the blue jerseys. Brandon Dis, product of Bishop Luers High School in Fort Wayne, Indiana, the 6', 175-pounder. Batting here from the left side. Here's the 2-1 pitch. He hits one off to the left and out of play. Now the count moves to 2-2 to the junior. Four games in the Crossroads League today. Spring Arbor at Grace, Marion at St. Francis, Indiana Wesleyan at Mount Vernon, and of course our game here, Huntington at Bethel. There's a pickoff throw attempt, well back is the base runner, Jake Wilburn. Indiana Wesleyan, which was the preseason favorite, has gotten off to a slow start. There's another throw over to first. They're at 2-3 in league play, but 8-19. Here's the 2-2 offering. And here's a slow roller. The pitcher will have to play it out in front. He throws down to first base, and that's as good as a sacrifice bunt. We'll call it 1-3 on the putout. Runner moves into scoring position at second base. But there are now 2 outs in the inning, and that'll bring up the talented Kalombi Moss. Moss, a junior from Springfield, Ohio. Once again, Mason Shinneberry. This time from the belt. Here's the pause. Here's the breaking ball. Moss couldn't corral it. That'll be strike one. Moss flew out to the right fielder, Colin Landrum, in the first inning to close out the inning. Shinneberry delivers again. Breaking ball, foul. And now Moss finds himself in an 0-2 hole.
You know, Paul, there's a rule in NAIA baseball this year that the pitchers are supposed to deliver within 20 seconds. And I think that helps them develop some rhythm, and it helps their defense. And that's not a bad thing to do anyways, but now it's a rule.
I like it. Here's the 0-2 scenario for Moss. Here's the pitch inside. Nice job by Gustavo Bonilla. Get down there with the butterfly save, showing us his best Corey Crawford imitation. Crow was outstanding last night in between the pipes, as the team with the Indian head crest on their sweaters were able to stay alive, and albeit for another day.
And we thought his career was over about a month ago.
Here's a one-handed backhand play by the pitcher. He throws him out on the comebacker. Once again, a 1-3 play to close out the inning. The Pilots in the inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, and once again, 1 man left. The Pilots have stranded 3 through 3 as Mason Shinneberry continues his work. He's now got an eye-popping 66 pitches on his pitch count. And compare that on the other side of the coin with his counterpart. Andrew Bobeck is at 56. We'll be back with more of Crossroads League Baseball. No score as we move to the fourth right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
To be able to just get my son to St. Jude and not think about how we will pay for it, it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Welcome back here to Bethel College in Mishawaka, Indiana, Paul County, along with Hall of Fame sports scribe Steve Craw joining us here today. No score as we move to the visitors' half of the fourth inning, top of the fourth, and the hits have been few and far between for both squads. As a matter of fact, one combined across the way, the Pilots softball team in action. 7-2 Grace in the top of the fourth inning. So Scotty Reese's squad, who played pretty competitive over the weekend against Marian University, need to find another gear to pick it up in here this afternoon over at the base or the softball complex. Now moving along here for the Foresters here in this fourth inning. It'll be 5, 6, and 7 respectively in the lineup. Andrew Natividad, Jacob Hansen, and Satchel Wilson to be matched up against senior Andrew Bobeck. Bobeck delivers, and that'll be a swing, and he fouled it back. Natividad, the designated hitter, flew out to the first baseman. Natividad, who is a 5'9", 180-pounder, batting here from the right side, and he sees that pitch go a little high. Now they're kind of 1-1. He hails from Orange, California, went to Valencia High School. And on the ear for Natividad, that ball popped up. Moss has got a beat on it in center field. Holds up the left hand, makes the catch on the lazy fly ball, and Natividad is retired for the second time this afternoon. And that'll bring up Jacob Hansen. Hansen, who struck out his only matchup against Andrew Bobeck. Hansen, who started today's action with a batting average of .571, which is leading the club. Keep in mind, that's only through 5 games. Here's a ground ball, backhanded play by the third baseman, Wilburn. Throws it across the diamond, and a fine play by the junior to record the out. 5-3 on the putout. An outstanding play by Wilburn. And that'll bring up Satchel Wilson. So 2 up and 2 down for Andrew Bobeck. Satchel Wilson, who was retired on a ground out to the third baseman the last time. He finds himself in an 0-1 hole here now. Andrew Bobeck quickly working. The southpaw delivers. This one outside. Now they're kind of 1-0, or 1-1, excuse me. One look here with 2 down. Ball hit on the fist. Moss comes in. He tells everybody to get out of Dodge. He makes the catch and then rolls the ball here all the way from the outfield right to the top of the mound. How about that? Couldn't have walked it in and done any better than Moss did there. Quick work for Andrew Bobeck here in that inning. In the inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Bobeck now at 63 pitches, and in that inning, only 7. We'll move to the home half of the fourth in a scoreless ball game right after this.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Welcome back here to Bethel College in Mishawaka, Indiana. We'll be saying that for about another 6 or 7 weeks, and then we'll switch over next school year. Once again, the name change goes from Bethel College to Bethel University, but in the meantime, the Bethel College Pilots will be sending Mason Love, Luke Adams, and Mike Wathier through the turnstiles here in this 4th inning, and a pitcher's duel between Mason Shinneberry and Andrew Bobeck. Here's Love hitting a high pop-up off to the left. The third baseman battling that crosswind makes the catch in foul territory on the first pitch. And that will be 1 out here in the 4th inning. I really like the way the third baseman, the sophomore Daniel Lichty, approached that ball. The 5'9", 165-pound youngster from Denfield, Ontario. There's a strike to Adams as he's moving right along here. Both pitchers really pushing the pace. Shinneberry with a breaking ball, and once again it'll be Adams fouling it off to the left. Both pitchers have had an inning where they haven't had their best stuff and have pitched their way through things. Here's one back to the screen. And now the count remains at 0-2. Once again, Clark in straightaway center, just about 7 paces. Here's a one-hopper to the shortstop. Picks it up and throws across the diamond. Wilson to Pritchard. An easy 6-3 put out. So the Pilots 2 up and 2 down. And they'll call upon Mike Wathier. Wathier, who had a base on balls in the 2nd inning. He's officially does not have it at bat, as Wathier will bat here from the right side. Wathier, part of that Bulldog connection in the lineup. He takes the breaking ball for a strike. Maybe the best breaking ball of the afternoon right there for Mason Shinneberry. Here's another one. This one missed the mark. Now the count of 1-1. Here's the 1-1 look from Shinneberry. He right-hander delivers breaking ball. Wathier not biting on that one. Now the count of 2-1. Wathier looks, now he looking at 2-2 on his card. The junior first baseman grounds it foul towards the Huntington dugout. Foresters and the Pilots have the heaters in their dugouts today, per Crossroads League rules, that if the weather temperature is between 32 and 38 and a wind chill factor, there has to be heaters. Here's a breaking ball missing the mark for Wathier. Now the count at 3-2.
What's the real feel where they wouldn't play at all? There's a rule there, isn't there?
There is. Here's a ground ball up the middle. Shortstop picks it up, throws it across the diamond. 6-3 on the putout. Instead of trying to explain that one to you, Steve, I'll give you the rule sheet. You can read that one in between innings. How about that? In the inning, no runs, no hits, no errors. That sounds like commonplace. Nobody left on base. And for Mason Shinneberry, he is now retired 3 straight. And in the last 2 innings, he has retired 6 of the last 7. Shinneberry, 79 pitches through his 4 innings of play. No scores. We move to the top of the 5th after this.
Whatever you want to grow, Teachers Credit Union is ready to help. Visit a branch or tcunet.com today. Teachers Credit Union, financial solutions. Teachers Credit Union deposits are federally insured by the NCUA, and we are an equal housing opportunity. Question: when you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Indiana, who do you meet? When you're working for a mover and shaker with strong ties to our community, who are they? When you encounter a group of people eager to roll up their sleeves, who are you most likely to work with? Answer: men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Taking the initiative, being a good teammate, sacrificing personal glory for the greater good. These are qualities we expect of our leaders, and they're all being cultivated in the high schools right here in Indiana. Question: so where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer: high school sports.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association.
Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. I'm Paul Condry along with Steve Craw. Special thanks to my main man here, Landon Kaufman, and Andrew Bowen for spectacular work on the setup. As quickly working now is Ian McCutcheon, Gustavo Bonilla, and Donovan Clark. We're talking 8, 9, and 1 in the lineup. Now the 0-2 pitch, and that'll be 3 pitches, 3 strikes for Bobek. He is working quickly. He had 1 strikeout in the first. He had 2 in the second, 2 in the third, and here we are with 1 here in the 5th, moving right along. He also has given up 3 walks as well. The left-hander delivers. Here's a bunt attempt, a beautifully placed bunt. Bobek picks it, throws it up, and throws a nice ball down to first base. A nice play by the Bethel hurler. That was a perfectly placed bunt by Gustavo Bonilla, and just a fine fundamental play by Bobek. As Mike Frame's club trying to play a little small ball at the bottom of the lineup. That'll bring up the leadoff man in the lineup, Donovan Clark, the fleet of foot youngster who prepped at Southside High School in Fort Wayne. The former Archer is 0 for 1 officially on the day. Bobek sends one a little high, and that moves the mark to 1-1. Clark 1 for 3 in the second game of the Twin Bill, and here's a swing and a miss. Now the count of 1-2. In the first game of the Twin Bill, he was 0 for 4 in this series. Now the count of 1-2. Here's a ground ball, slow roller towards the third baseman, picks it up, and he's safe. Oh no, my! If Clark has a beef, he can do it. The Pilots will take it. Yours truly, that was no question in my mind. He had beaten the play. But we'll call it 5-3. Clark not happy with the call by Corey Stewart, the infield umpire. Steve, there is no question in my mind that he was safe at first base. What did you think? Were you?
Oh, I think that he was there, yes. I agree with you, Paul. I thought he beat it out.
So an 8-pitch inning for Bobek, that puts him at 71 through 4.5, as the Pilots will come up here in the bottom of the 5th inning. It'll be 7, 8, 9 in the lineup. Shalaski, Sully Swingley, and Siam Laffey will be batting for the Pilots here. Let's give you an update on the line score. It's pretty easy. Huntington, no runs, no hits, no errors. The Pilots, no runs, 1 hit, no error. The lone hit of the afternoon was to the leadoff man for Bethel, Mason Love, and he was erased on a pickoff attempt. So the scoring opportunities have been few and far between for both baseball teams today. So Shalaski will be matched up against Shinneberry to get things going here in the home half of the 5th in a scoreless ball game. A game which started at 3:01. Now we're at 4:08. It's a 9-inning game today. And that'll be ball 1 now to Shalaski. There's a pitch missing the mark. Now they're kind of 2-0. Tomorrow, a busy day here on the Mishawaka campus. The McDonald's All-Star Games will be getting underway around 5 o'clock. You can watch those games on our channel as well as on Regional Radio Sports. As that pitch missed the mark by Schinneberg. Now he's staring at a 3-0 opportunity to Shalaski as he's going to rub the baseball down and stare a hole in the home plate umpire. Laird Salomon. He rears back, and that'll be ball 4. On 4 straight pitches, he walks the leadoff man. And that will end the streak of 5 consecutive batters retired. And the Huntington staff will go out and talk to them. You talk about these two squads, both pretty young. The Foresters with 3 freshmen in the everyday lineup. The Pilots with 2. Huntington with 2 sophomores in the everyday lineup. The Pilots with 1. And the junior class for Bethel, there are 4 junior starters compared to 2 for the visitors. All playing prominent roles here as we move here to the number 8 hitter, Sully Swingley, the freshman left fielder. And some activity in the bullpen. We cannot tell who it is because they've got a hoodie on. We'll not tell you who that is. But the home plate umpire was out to visit with Schinneberg. And I don't know if that's a stall tactic or whatever the case may be. Keep in mind for Huntington, they are without the services of Adam Roser, the all-league performer, Northfield High School product, who is out of the lineup today. Wish him a recovery. He's having some health issues. Here's the 1-0 pitch now to Swingley. Sizable lead by Shalaski. And now there's a strike. Now they're kind of 1-1. On deck, CM Laffey. Swingley squares around a bunt. Swings and misses. Swingley, a all HHC baseball performer, North-South All-Star, All-State honorable mention, academic All-State. Here's the ground ball to the second baseman. He'll try to turn. He goes 4-6, and a hustling Sully Swingley will be safe at first base on the fielder's choice. We'll call that 4-6 on the putout. And now that'll bring up Siam Laffey. Laffey, who's a biblical studies and philosophy major here on the Mishawaka campus. Played a part of a high school state championship where he went 2 for 3, a double single walk, 4 stolen bases, and 5 RBIs in the big game. His favorite player is Alex Rodriguez, and he's a longtime Yankees fan. I will forgive him for such deficiencies in thinking.
Well, he's from New Jersey, so
I
can see why he might be a Yankees fan.
My son is actually going to Yankee Stadium tomorrow. He's up in New York today. We're out on Ellis Island today.
Good deal.
Here's a ball foul back and out of play to the right. As a lifelong Orioles fan, I could never see myself at any point in time in my lifetime ever rooting for the evil empire that's located in the Bronx. I've been to one game there at the old stadium, the old Yankee Stadium. I've not been to the new one, but I heard it's a doozy. There's a quick toss over to first, and hustling back is Swingley. Swingley's not a guy that's going to steal a lot of bases. Yet to be able to record one on the season. Here's a swing and a miss. Laffey couldn't catch up to the breaking ball. Now they're kind of 1-2. This is a big at bat for Laffey. If he can push the runner along and get on base, you're bringing up to the top of the Bethel order, which has been the most productive part. Here's a breaking ball hit off the fist. It's going to get up in the wind, And it's going all the way back to the warning track. And he dropped the ball. And the runner will be safe at second base. It appeared the right fielder, Steve, Colin Landrum, lost it as he was getting ready to set to throw instead of looking the ball in. And that'll be an E9.
Yeah, he was camping under it, and then he just didn't hold on to it.
I think he was more concerned about the throw than he was making the catch. So Laffey advances the runner, and then we go to the top of the order. And for only the second time this afternoon, the Pilots have 2 runners aboard the base paths at the same time. That happened back in the second when they squandered some offensive opportunities. And now Mike Frame is going to come out to talk to the umpire, Corey Stewart, about something. Don't know what the details are. Looking ahead for the Pilots in the schedule. Once again, IU South Bend tomorrow for the boys in blue.
Oh, he reversed the call. He reversed the call, so that's an out.
Oh, I know why.
Okay, so we'll...
He was exchanging the ball.
No, he passed the front runner. You can't do that.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, that's right. The runners, thank you. The runners passed each other on the base pass, and that's why the out was recorded.
So Laffey is erased then. That'll be the second out of the inning. So the runner will have to come back here to first base, will be Sully Swingley. And that's just one of those unfortunate plays that Swingley needs to make sure he knows what's going on. Give Laffey a lot of credit because he was out hustling. Now here's a runner off and going. And here's a throw, and the runner steals second base, and he's going to go off to third. And Clark will throw to third, and the runner is safe. So that will be a stolen base, and then an error on the throw to move him over to third base. So the error is going to go against the catcher, Steve, I believe.
Yes.
And that will give Bethel a runner at third with 2 down. So how do you score the out, Steve, for CM Laffey? It's not an F9.
No, it's going to be a.
Here's a pitch, a little high.
I think it's going to be a runner's interference. But he can't cross.
And now here's the 3-1 look here to Wilburn. Pitch outside, he'll pick up a base on balls. So Wilburn, throughout all the drama that has been going on, picks up a walk. And now the Pilots with runners at the corner. And that'll bring up Brandon Diss, the junior designated hitter.
That's the 5th walk of the day for Shinneberry.
And Mike Frame is coming to the hill again. This time I think he's going to make a pitching change. And I think we've got whoever the Huntington pitcher is, he's got his warm-up off now there, Landon. We should be able to zero in on a jersey number now. And that's going to be the case. Shinneberry, who did not play on Saturday, had some wisdom teeth issues.
Caleb Landrum, junior right-hander from Huntington, Indiana, is going to be the pitcher.
Landrum, a 6'4", 190-pounder. He wears number 32 on his jersey. And we'll give you the line score on the former North Viking at this point in time. Landrum on the year has an ERA of 25.2. He is 0 for 2. He's appeared in 3 games. He started 2 games. He's only pitched 5 innings. However, he has given up 14 runs, 13 hits, 14 earned runs in 5 innings. 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 homer, 19 total bases in 5 innings. Steve, opponents are batting .929 against him. So he's going to have to put the big boy pants on here. The big right-hander we'll see what he can do as he's going to warm it up here. And also some other movement in the bullpen for Huntington as they've got some other people going down there. Looks like Brent Turner's down there to get warmed up. Turner, a freshman from Rising Sun High School, is stretching out there in the dugout, or check that in the bullpen, excuse me. So once again, it will be Caleb Landrum to come in relief here, the junior.
Shinneberry pitched 4 2/3 innings. He gave up the 1 hit, walked 5, struck out 3. He threw 96 pitches, 17 in this inning. He's responsible for the base runners.
And the right-hander, Caleb Landrum, will have one more pitch to throw here before he gives way to Brandon Diss. Diss, so far this afternoon, was robbed on a great defensive play by Ian McCutcheon in the first. Also was erased on a Shinneberry to Pritchard 1-3 putout in the third frame. No changes on the defensive side as it's Lichty, Wilson, McCutcheon, and Pritchard remaining infield third to first. Hanson, Clark, and Landrum, Colin Landrum in right. Here is the first pitch. Aguil gets away from the catcher. Runner's coming home, and he scores. Laffey scores the go-ahead run on a wild pitch. And now the Pilots lead at 1-0. And that'll bring up Brandon Diss again. Nice lead by Jake Wilburn at second base now. Here's a pitch on the outside corner for a strike. So the Pilots will take the free gift and gladly do it. You know it was going to be an odd play. That was the way the game was going along for somebody to score. Breaking ball, and this one's foul back. Diss realized that he had a good look at a pitch right there and did not drive it. Here's a pitch. Ground ball towards the second baseman. McCutcheon gobbles it up, throws, and that'll end the inning 4-3. The Pilots were able to score their first run of the ball game. And in the inning, there was 1 run on no hits, no errors, and 1 Pilot left on base. As we'll be back with more. Actually, there was 1 error in the game, in that inning. And we'll be back with more Pilots baseball. 1-0 at the end of 5 after this on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Indiana, who do you meet? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. The debate about sports specialization by high school athletes continues. Some argue that high school athletes who play one sport all year long have a better chance of landing a lucrative pro contract. But that's simply not true. In fact, 30 of the 32 first-round picks in last year's NFL draft played more than one sport in high school.
That is a great stat. If you ever want to talk about that, well, I just love to talk about playing multiple sports. Worst thing that happens to sports is when people try to specialize in sports at the high school level. All right, we're going to get back here to the sixth inning, and that'll be a base hit on the first pitch. So Colin Lander breaks up the no-hitter here in the sixth inning with a base hit off of Andrew Bobeck. And then a play at second base, and he is out. Steve, I hope you had an eye on that one. I had to staring right out at my scorecard.
Well, I was doing the same thing, I'll be honest with you.
So what was the official call on that, boys?
8-5-6.
8-5-6 on the putout. So the base hit is erased immediately. So no harm, no foul, as they say, other than the blemish on the...
Well, you've been talking about how aggressive that the Foresters are on the base paths, and there's another example of that.
Here's the second pitch here now to Daniel Lichty. Now the count at 2-0. Bobeck, who entered the sixth inning with 71 pitches. And as Steve alluded to, that Shinneberry, who's done for the day, had 96. Here's a strike on the outside corner for Bobeck and company. Defensively, it's Wilburn, Adams, Laffey, and Wathier. Infield third to first. It's Shalaski, Moss, and Swingley right, center, and left. As this pitch misses the mark, and it's the battery of Bobeck and Mason Love. That's your defensive alignment for the home team, who lead 1-0 here in the sixth inning. And here is a base on balls for Lichty. Now, boy, I tell you what, just think about that. You could have had runners at first and second, nobody out. Instead, now you got a runner at first. And the question, how long do you think it'll take Daniel Lichty to get off and run? Lichty with 8 of 10 in the stolen base department on the year. Here's the pitch. Missed on the outside corner. Did Bobeck against Austin Pritchard. The Pilots, who of course earlier in the series, first two games, there's a ground ball. Taylor may double play. 4, 6, and 3. The Pilots turn 2. And that will end the frame. Old-fashioned pitcher's best friend to close it out here in the sixth inning. In the inning, no runs. There was one hit. There's no errors and nobody left on base. As we played through 5.5. No score from Bethel for the Foresters. 1 up on the board for the Pilots. 1-0 at the end of 5.5 on Regional Radio Sports.
Of the 32 players drafted, 22 also participated in high school track and field. 19 also played basketball. Some also played baseball and lacrosse. What's the path to success for high school athletes here in Indiana, no matter what their goals might be? Study hard, always do your best, and if you can, play more than one sport in high school. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. The debate about...
Question.
Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. Paul Country along with Steve Craw. Special thanks to Andrew Bowen and my main man, Landon Coppin, for his wonderful work here today. He's keeping us abreast of what's going on. So Bobeck now with 79 pitches on his resume. And the youngster who came in, Caleb Landrum, has now got 4. He is the second of the 2 pitchers for the Foresters, and the big right-hander will be out there again here in the home half of the 6th. He's going to be looking at Moss, Love, and Adams, respectively. And he immediately throws a pitch, and that'll be ball 1. No runs on 1 hit and 2 errors for Huntington. Pilots 1 run on 1 hit and no errors. Huntington came into today's action with a fielding percentage of .958. And if you look at the teams in the Crossroads League, strictly from fielding, Huntington the 4th best in the league. Mount Vernon is atop the leaderboard at 97% as Moss swings, fouled it back. Mount Vernon, St. Francis, Mering, Huntington, and Bethel. That's your 1 through 5 in fielding percentage. The Pilots earlier in the year were dead last in league play in fielding. They have done a much improved job as of late once they've got into Crossroads League play and fielding the baseball. Here's a swing and a miss. No, they're going to consider it fouled it off. Moss looked like he was trying to hit one down Colfax Avenue there. Now the 2-2 look here from Kawambi Moss. And it swings and misses for strike 3. So the first strikeout of the afternoon for Landrum. And that'll bring up Mason Love. Love 1 for 2 today. Doubled in the second. Erased on a 1-6-5 pickoff attempt. He slaps one towards the shortstop, who picks it up, and he throws him out. 6-3 on the put out there. And that'll bring up Luke Adams, who's 0 for 1. Adams walked in the second, grounded out 6-3 in the 4th. As the pace continues to increase here in the home half of the 6th.
Brisk would be a good word.
I like it. Here's the pitch by the right-hander in on the fist. Ground ball to the third baseman. Picks it up on the second hop. Oh, nice backhanded pickup by the first baseman. And that was a quick and easy inning for Caleb Landrum. 5-3 for the third out of the inning. In the inning for the Pilots, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Landrum with 9 pitches. And just like that, we'll move to the 7th. 1-0 Pilots right here on Regional Radio Sports.
Whatever you want to grow, Teachers Credit Union is ready to help. Visit a branch or tcunet.com today. Teachers Credit Union, financial solutions. Teachers Credit Union deposits are federally insured by the NCUA, and we are an equal housing opportunity.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Indiana, who do you meet? When you're working for a mover and shaker with strong ties to our community, who are they? When you encounter a group of people eager to roll up their sleeves, who are you most likely to work with? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Taking the initiative, being a good teammate, sacrificing personal glory for the greater good. These are qualities we expect of our leaders, and they're all being cultivated in the high schools right here in Indiana. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. Paul Condry along with Steve Crom, Landon Kaufman, Andrew Bowen with us here today. Andrew Bobeck going to be matched up against Andrew Natividad, Jacob Hansen, and Satchel Wilson, respectively, here in this inning. And the first pitch is a ball, and it comes back with a strike on the second pitch. Now they're kind of 1-1. Natividad flied out to the first baseman in the first, flied out to the center fielder in the 4th. He's 0 for 2. Now that pitch missing the mark. Now they're kind of 2-1. Bobeck over 80 now in the pitch department. Still no activity in the BC bullpen. Now they're kind of 3-1. I would think if he loses him here, Kyle Boynton and company will be sending somebody down there. The left-hander delivers. And that'll be a strike on the inside corner. Now we're We got a full house. Here's the 3-2 look now from Andrew Bobeck in search of his 4th win of the season. There's a pitch inside. Ball 4. For the 2nd consecutive inning, Bobeck has allowed the leadoff man to reach base. He was fortunate the last time around to get the pitcher's best friend. And now we have a courtesy runner as Jarrett Gray will run for Natividad. Jarrett Gray, a 6'2", 170-pound freshman from Huntington North High School. And immediately when you think about that, you got to look at the stolen base. Garrett has yet to steal a base. He's appearing his 14th game of the season. And Bobeck's now matched up against Jacob Hansen, the left fielder. Here's a fastball. Missing the mark, now they're kind of 1-0. Hansen 0 for 2. He struck out looking in the 2nd. Grounded out 5-3 in the 4th inning. Here's the ball, sky high pop up. Catcher Mason Love comes back and he lost the ball in the sun. And there's a simple play there where Mike Wathier stopped coming towards the baseball when Love waved everybody off. If Wathier continues to come into the play, as he may have been able to save the day there. That will not be an error, but it's an error in judgment. Now they're kind of 1-1. Bobeck delivers, and now will be on the outside corner. Now they're kind of 1-2. So the 1-2 look here for Bobeck and company. He throws quickly over. The Pilots in the first game of the Twin Bill had 2 errors. Had 1 error. Here's a ball hit on the nose. Center fielder will pick it up on second out. And now runners at first and second with nobody out. And if there isn't any activity in that pen now, there should be. That ball was punched. And that will bring up the number 7 man in the lineup, Satchel Wilson. Wilson 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Wilson was 1 for 4 in game number 1 in the series. Did not play in the check that. He was 1 for 3 in the second game. Here's a pitch inside and missing the mark. Now they're kind of 1-0 here to Wilson. Madrid running now. Is that what you got, Bo? In the pen for the Pilots? We saw him pitch yesterday. Pitched an inning or so and was formidable. Actually, officially 2/3 of an inning. Was able to retire both of the actors. Now, Wathier in on the grass as Wilburn comes in as well, too. Here's the ball punched towards left field, base hit. And now the bases are loaded with nobody out. Andrew Bobeck has run out of steam here, as now it's a full house party for the team from Huntington County. They've got them all loaded on back-to-back base hits. Bobeck staring over here into the dugout, wanting to see, and there's Coach Boynton's going to come out and talk to him about the finer things in life. So Steve, they battled back here in the, just kind of hanging around here in this 7th inning, as you can hear that wind picking up on the crowd mic. Ian McCutcheon due up next. McCutcheon, a couple strikeouts this afternoon. And looking ahead, you'll go to the number 9 hitter, Gustavo Bonilla, and follow that up with the top of the order, and Donovan Clark. I don't know if that's going to be the case because it looks like to me that Matt Kuntz has picked up a bat. He probably will bat for Bonilla if that is going to be the case. He's certainly on the on-deck circle. Wilburn and Wathy are in on the grass as they're going to try to take away the lead run. Here's the ball golfed off to the right and out of play. McCutcheon, the second baseman. A 203 hitter with 11 RBIs, 1 triple, 2 doubles, 12 singles. He's behind the count 0-1, so it's gut check time for Bobeck here. The southpaw delivers, hits toward the right side. 1 run will score. We're tied. Second run is going to take the wide turn. He puts on the brakes. 1-1 ball game on a 7th inning base hit for Ian McCutcheon. And everybody moves up 90 feet. Hanson now to third. Wilson to second. And McCutcheon with the RBI. And for McCutcheon now, that'll improve his RBI total to 12. And now Seth Zartman says that's enough for Andrew Bobeck. He's going to make a pitching change. And we're going to step aside here while Coach Z sorts it out. A pretty good pitching performance for Bobeck must not go unnoticed here today. He has been outstanding up here into the final moments of this inning. We'll be back with more right after this.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Indiana, who do you meet? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. The debate about sports specialization by high school athletes continues. Some argue that high school athletes who play one sport all year long have a better chance of landing a lucrative pro contract. But that's simply not true. In fact, 30 of the 32 first-round picks in last year's NFL draft played more than one sport in high school. Of the 32 players drafted, 22 also participated in high school track and field. 19 also played basketball. Some also played baseball and lacrosse. What's the path to success for high school athletes here in Indiana, no matter what their goals might be? Study hard, always do your best, and if you can, play more than one sport in high school. This message presented...
Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. Glad you can join us here today. Jose Madrid, a 6', 190-pounder from Caracas, Venezuela, prepped at Elevation Prep High, is now on the bump. We'll give you some numbers on him thus far this season. Madrid, who is 2-0 on the year with an ERA of 6.75. He's appearing in his 8th game. 10 2/3 innings pitched, 11 hits, 10 runs. 8 of those runs are earned. He's walked 11, struck out 10, given up 2 doubles, 1 long ball, and teams are batting .268 against him. He does lead the team in wild pitches with 3. He's hit 1 guy, and he has 1 balk. Once again, no outs. Bases are loaded. We're tied 1-1 here. The Foresters, with 2 hits in the inning, doubled their hit total in 1 inning. And now they'll call upon Matt Kuntz to bat. No, check that. He's going to make a change. He was going to go with Matt Kuntz, but because of the pitching change, he's now going to go with Nick Davitt. We saw Davitt play on Saturday. So Davitt will be batting here from the left side. And he takes the first pitch. Ball hit center field. Moss has got a beat on it. Makes the catch. He'll be the throw to the plate. It's going to be offline. Runner from second goes to third. And now the Foresters have the lead 2-1 on the sac fly by Davitt. Solid fundamental play. But we'll call it F8 on the score sheet, as Hansen is the man to come around to score. Wilson moves up 90 feet. McCutcheon remains at first base. Now we'll move to the top of the order with one down. The dangerous Donovan Clark. Clark walked, struck out, and grounded out. Here's a pitch, bunt attempt. Perfectly placed, but it's going to go foul. Mason Love, who kicked the ball foul once it was foul. Can you imagine if he would have swung and missed or kicked it off the opposite side of the foot? He kicks that ball back in play, and that ball's in. Oh, that's a dangerous play right there. I get what he's trying to do, but when you're running full bore coming out of that catcher's crouch, that's a tough play. He got away with it, though. So Clark now in the hole at 0-1. Base hit here, good. Here's a bunt attempt, and he fouls it back again. Now the count at 0-2. The center fielder from Fort Wayne staring a hole again into the dugout, as well as down here at the third base line. 0-2 situation. Madrid trying to close the door here now. His club a 2-1 trailer here in the top of the 7th inning. Madrid steps off the bump and allow the runner to step back. The RBI by Davitt. Here's a pitch in the dirt. Wild pitch. Run scores. Throw to third. He's safe. Oh, they called him out. Oh, my. That's the second time today. The Pilots fortunate. Oh, my. Fortunate play for Bethel there. We'll call that 2-5, Steve, I believe, on the play.
Yeah, 2-5. Coach Frame's going to voice his displeasure at that call.
He's done that twice today. But the bottom line is Wilson comes around to score, and it's a 3-1 ball game, as Clark still remains here as the batter. So Davitt, who was able to get the RBI. So Wilson scores on a wild pitch. And now with the game at 3-1, Clark will try to dig in, but this time the landscape a lot different because there's nobody on. Here's a pitch, Madrid, and that ball really crossed up Mason Love. And then the ball bounced, and he tried to catch it with his right hand, which is his mitt is in his left hand. That ball actually hit the grass in front of the plate.
Yeah, that was like a 54, 55 footer.
You're being kind.
Yeah, that's exactly. Maybe more like a 51 footer.
There you go. So Madrid now trailing 3-1. The right-hander delivers, and there's another one.
I think maybe he's just having a problem with his release point or something. Jose's.
So here's the 3-2 pitch with two down. You're going to put the dangerous Clark on. You might as well give him second base. Here's the pitch, and there it is again. Madrid with 3 pitches that never even got to the dirt. And that will be a Base on balls for Donovan Clark. Clark, who was in the hole at 1-2, was able to get a walk, and now they'll move on to the number 2 hitter in the lineup, and that'll be Colin Landrum. Landrum, who had a sacrifice bunt in the first, hit by a pitch, stole a base in the third, had a base hit in the sixth. And going out to talk to him is Mason Love. I don't think he's going to ask Madrid to go out for dinner. He's been beat up back there. He understands the Corey Crawford syndrome now really well. Some activity in the Pilot bullpen as Madrid will finally step to the bump. I don't know if that's some stalling tactic by Mason Love or whatever the case may be. But Colin Landrum Matthew Peach warming up in the bullpen for the Pilots. Here's the pitch, and right down Main Street. So whatever adjustment that Madrid made, and here's a Clark stealing second base. There's a big surprise, as foretold by yours truly. Nothing like Nostradamus, but make no mistake about it, you knew that was coming.
Yeah, that's 51 swipes for the Foresters this season.
And for the fleet of foot, Clark now at 15 attempts. And here's the ball getting away again. Clark's going to take the wide turn. He'll hustle back to third base. Madrid with another wild pitch. Madrid, who came into the contest today, leading the team with 3 wild pitches, now officially has 2 more to add to the resume, and Seth's had enough. He's going to hook Madrid here with the count at 1-1 to Colin Landrum. He has seen enough. The Pilots in the first game of the series. Landrum will finish with 13 pitches. And he had struggled big time. Keep going back to the first game of the series where the Pilots pitching got into that bullpen and they laid an egg between Madrid, Beebe, and Peach. Madrid was okay. Beebe struggled with 4 walks in 2/3 innings pitch. Peach with 1/3 inning pitch did have 1 strikeout, and Peach will come in here now and try to shut the door here now. Matthew Peach, a 6 foot, 185-pound left-hander who hails from Crawfordsville, Indiana. He did his prep work at nearby North Montgomery High School, the Chargers. And now the left-hander will come in to pitch here. If you look at number 14 on the year, I'll take a quick look at our profiles and tell you a little bit about number 14. Matthew Peach, who's engineering is his forte, mechanical engineering. His favorite player is Trevor Williams, big fan of the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let's see what he can do here now as the left-hander is going to wrap up his attempts to warm up. He'd be matched up against Landrum with a 1-1 count. Two down. The inning started with a walk to Natividad, and then Gray ran for him. Hansen then followed it up with a base hit. Then Wilson had a base hit. So the bases were loaded with nobody out. And then Ian McCutcheon had an RBI base hit. And then a run scored on a wild pitch. And then another run scored on a Davitt sacrifice fly. And now here we are again with the dangerous Donovan Clark 90 feet away after a walk a stolen base and a wild pitch advancement. 1-1 count here to Colin Landrum as he'll be matched up against Matt Peach. His first pitch missed in the mark. Not a lot of room for error here now. Now the count at 2-1. Huntington with 3 here in the 7th has grabbed a 3-1 lead. Sidearm, here's a pitch missing the mark. Now the count at 3-1. Payoff time here for Colin Landrum. 3-1 count with 2 down. Here's a pitch on the inside corner for a strike now at 3. Now the count full at 3-2. Daniel Lichty on deck for HU. They lead 3-1. Here's a pitch, sidearm, strike 3. Peach comes in and shuts the door and strands Donovan Clark in the inning. The Foresters send 7 through the turnstiles, and in the inning, they score 3 runs on 3 hits. There were no errors. 1 man left on base. And at the end of 6.5, we'll check that, 6.5, 3-1 in favor of the visitors. We'll be back with more right after this.
Honey, isn't it amazing?
What?
The sacrifice, the dedication, the grit. I mean, they really set an example, don't they?
Oh, well, no question. Today's high school athletes are truly special.
Not the athletes.
Well, who?
The officials.
Oh.
Today's student athletes are truly special. But there's something pretty great about the men and women who officiate their games, too. Like the way they're giving back to their communities. Officiating is a terrific way to stay in shape, meet new people, and stay connected to the game you love. But the biggest reason of all? We need more qualified high school officials here in Indiana. And without them, the rest of us would have a whole lot less to cheer about. High school games need officials. High school sports need you.
Great call, Rob!
Yeah!
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn.
All right, back here with you live here at Bethel College. First ball hitting Mike Wathier sends one up the middle for a base hit off Caleb Landrum. And the Pilots have the leadoff man aboard here in the home half of the 7th inning. Last time the Pilots had a hit, you had to go all the way back to the 2nd inning when Love led off the inning with a double. Jake Shalaski, the freshman right fielder, batting in the number 7 spot now. Here's the pitch. That beamed him. And on the first pitch, Landrum got it in too close and hit him in the backside. And now the Pilots trying to make some noise here in the 7th inning with the first 2 men reaching. And that'll send Wathier down to second base, and that'll bring up Sully Swingley. Here is the first pitch, bunt attempt, rolls towards the third base side. Here, the ball is safe at third base. Caleb Landrum threw a laser beam. The infield umpire, Corey Stewart, is not going to receive any Christmas cards from the Foresters. Mark my word on that one. And the runners will advance. And now the bases are full of blue jerseys. And Steve, will you give him a hit or a fielder's choice?
That'll be a fielder's choice.
All right, so officially, Mr. Baseball calls that a fielder's choice. We'll call that as well. And that'll bring up C.M. Laffey. And some trouble brewing for the team from Huntington County. Here is Landrum with a breaking ball inside. Now the count at 2-0 to Laffey. Laffey, who scored the only run for the Pilots back in the 5th frame. Here's the pitch outside. Now the count at 3-0. Laffey with an opportunity to make some noise here in the home half of the 7th. Pilots trailing 3-1. Caleb Landrum in relief from Shinneberry. Here's a pitch for a strike. Now the count at 3-1. You knew he was taken all the way. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Nobody out, bases full of Pilots here in the home half of the 7th. Here's a swing and a miss on a breaking ball. Laffey's got to let that go. That would have been ball 4. Now the count full. This is the difference between being a 106 hitter and a 206 or a 306 hitter. Here's strike 3. Laffey strikes out. Swung at ball 4. And now that'll move Jake Wilburn into the spotlight now here with the bases loaded with 1 down. He'll be batting from the left side. Wilburn officially with only 1 at bat today. He's picked up a pair of walks. If he picks up a walk now, he's got himself an RBI. He'll be batting here from the left side. He showed a good eye thus far today. Here's a pitch for a strike. Caught the outside corner. No changes for the Foresters defensively. Henson, Clark, and Landrum left, center, and right. Lichty, Wilson, McCutcheon, and Pritchard infield third to first. Breaking ball hit into left field. Will they test the arm of the left fielder, Hanson? And they will, and he's way offline. The Pilots do not make a move. So an easy fly out. F7 if you're scoring that at home. And now Brandon Diss is left to try to clean up the 3 Pilots on the base pass.
Well, the infielders can now move back to their normal positions. They were in at the corners, but now with 2 outs, they can move back.
Landrum will get a visit from the coaching staff at Huntington University. Boy, this will be a major squandered opportunity if the Pilots don't score here in this particular frame, because this was set up for your taking right here. Bases loaded with nobody out. And you got to go back to Laffey, who swung at ball 4 on that 4th pitch to him. Or check, that would have been the 5th pitch to him. And he tapped himself on the cap, realized what he had done. And then he swung at the next pitch and struck out. And now it's Brandon Diss, 0 for 3 today. Grounded out to the infield all 3 times. We'll see if the southpaw can come up with a huge 2-out hit here. Here's a pitch on the inside corner, missing the mark. Kawambi Moss on deck for BC. Three-1 ball game here, bottom of the 7th. Bases loaded. Here's the pitch. Ball hit on the nose. Left fielder will make the easy catch to retire the side. Boy, the Pilots squandered golden opportunities in the 7th inning. In the inning, no runs on 1 hit, no errors, 3 blue jerseys left on the base paths. The Pilots have now stranded 7 through 7. At the end of 7, Huntington 3, Bethel 1. We'll be back with more of college baseball live here from our broadcast location at picturesque Jenkins Stadium. We'll tell you back more about it when we come back right here on Regional Radio Sports.
They came from every corner of the country, from small towns and big cities. But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines. A tough and determined few dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still, they come. Celebrate the history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports as we move to the 8th inning of this 9-inning affair. Huntington, 3 runs on 4 hits and 2 errors. Bethel, 1 run on 2 hits and no errors here in the game. Steve Craw is joining me, the Hall of Fame sports writer. Steve, Pilots squandered a golden opportunity in the bottom of the 7th. That's where you just got to score.
Oh, they certainly did. I mean, they had a single and a hit batsman and a fielder's choice that they didn't get on, so they had 3 guys on, and they go down K and fly out. So that's the biggest threat that they've had, except for that crazy inning where they scored the run in the 5th.
All right, we move to the 8th inning. It'll be Huntington to bat once again on the hill. The third pitcher for Coach Seth Zartman, Matt Peach, remains out there. He's going to be matched up with 3, 4, and 5, Lichty, Pritchard, and Natividad. And the first pitch misses the mark, and the second one catches the corner. Now the count of 1-1. Lichty has reached base twice via the base on balls and struck out back in the first. Here's the sidearm pitch from Peach. Foul back, and now the count at 1-2. When you've seen that overhand stuff and all of a sudden you see Peach come in, whether it be sidearm or 3/4, it becomes a difficult look sometimes. And that's what the Foresters are trying to zero in on now. There's a pitch, and that one missed the mark. Now the count of 2-2.
Yeah, not every pitcher can effectively change his arm angles and like that.
Peach, who has a fastball curve, a changeup, and what Seth calls a slurve, and there's the slurve right there. And he fouls it. Now the count remains at 2-2. Pilots have gone to their third pitcher. The Foresters now with 2 for Coach Mike Frame. There's a pitch outside. Now the count at 3-2. The boys in blue will be back home tomorrow in a 3:30 game against the Titans of Indiana University South Bend. You can join me along with Matt Copsey tomorrow, and then also have ball off to the right and out of play. Mason Love down here behind the plate was wondering, where are my guys? Somebody needs to make a call back there. That ball was catchable, Steve. But 3 guys in foul territory. Nobody took control out there. You've got a freshman in Jake Shalansky in right field. You've got a junior in Mike Wathier, and I think the second baseman, Siam Offie, was also over in the same zip code. And that ball harmlessly falls to the grass. So the count remains at 3-2 here for Matthew Peach. Matt delivers the sidearm slow roller towards the third baseman, and that'll be an error. The ball popped up on Jake Wilburn as he allowed the ball to play him instead of him playing the ball. E5. And the leadoff man aboard, and that's the first Pilot error of the game. As I alluded to earlier, Pilots have improved dramatically in regards to their fielding percentage. Sean Luzon warming up in the bullpen for BC. And the first pitch here to Pritchard, missing the mark for ball 1. Pritchard 0 for 2, walked in the first, grounded out in a 4-6-3 double play in the 6th as he bats here from the left side. He got a good cut. He slices it off here to the left, and running out of real estate was Jake Wilburn. And Matthew Peach will now be looking at Austin Pritchard with a 1-1 scenario. We're slated for 55 degrees with winds from the west tomorrow from 5 to 10. Here's a pitch outside. Now the count at 2-1. This will be a golden opportunity to actually get 3 consecutive scheduled games in the books. A timeout called by the Corey Stewart, the infield umpire. If you were to talk to the Forrester faithful, they will tell you that Corey Stewart, the infield umpire, has worn a blue jersey the whole day. There's been 3 calls out there that the boys in dark green and gray will argue with. As a matter of fact, head coach Mike Frame argued with all 3 and lost 3 of the arguments. Here's a runner off and going. Ball hit on the nose. Moss angles over towards left field and makes the catch to retire Pritchard. Boy, Kawambi Moss is just smooth in center field. And that will bring up the number 5 hitter in the Forrester lineup, Andrew Natividad. Natividad was who scored the tying run in the 7th inning. Quick throw over to first. Natividad.
This is Gray.
Oh, Jared Gray's now batting?
Gray pinch ran for him the last
That's
inning.
right. There you go.
Came into the field.
Here's a ball hit on the nose. That's going to be in the gap. Moss will have to track it down. The runner's going to come around, and he will score. It's now a 4-1 ball game as Gray ends up on third base with a triple and an RBI. And for Gray, not had a lot of looks. Picks up his first triple of the year and only his 4th RBI of the season. But a big one there and a really important insurance run, and that is an unearned run. As Lichty scores, who reached on the air. Now ball 1 here to Jacob Hansen. Here's a pitch. Outside corner for a strike. Now they're kind of 1-1. Jacob Hansen 1 for 3 today. Struck out in the 2nd, grounded out in the 4th, and had a base hit and scored a run in the 7th. And this pitch misses the mark. Now they're kind of 2-1. Well, the Foresters did what they did, Steve. They wanted to get to the Pilots' bullpen. And the bullpen has got to make plays, or now they're counting at 3-1. The Pilot bullpen let them down in the first game of the Twin Bill after a pretty solid pitching performance by the starters. And here's a base on balls. So the wheels are coming off the apple cart here for the Pilots here in the 8th. Now runners at the corner with 1 down. And that'll bring up Satchel Wilson. Number 12 is 1 for 3 on the day. Base hit and scored the 3rd run of the ball game. 4-1 Huntington here in the top of the 8th. There's a strike on the outside corner as Peach is able to paint it black out there. Wilson actually came around to score that 3rd run on a wild pitch. The second place Foresters trying to keep pace with Mount Vernon. Here's a quick throw down here to third base. Runner safe as a runner steals second base. The stolen base continues. What do we got now? Is that 3 or 4?
That's 4.
4 stolen bases for Huntington. They started the day with 48. Do the math. Just to make some comparison between the Pilots. The Pilots had 25 stolen bases. Here's a ball golfed off to the right and out of play. Now they're kind of at 1 and 2. Wathier and Wilburn here at the corners, near about 1.5 feet off the infield grass. Adams and Laffey at short and second. Here's a comeback that goes off the pitcher. Peach that it goes off the shortstop. That'll be a base hit. A run will score. And just like that, the Pilots find themselves in a huge hole, now trailing 5-1. As Gray comes around to score. Hanson scores. And Wilson with the base hit. I don't know if it made a difference, Stephen, what you think about the deflection as it bounced off the, and is he out at second on the stolen base attempt? No, he's safe. Another stolen base. He wasn't there for a heartbeat. I mean, you can hang a sign out when if you're Mike Frame. If we're on first base, we're going. And they just basically dare you to make plays. There's Peach. He gives up a base hit into right field. Runner will come around, and they're going to put the brakes on him. He got a late jump. And another base hit. Huntington with 3 in the 7th. And I got us with 2, with 3 here in the inning, or is that 2?
We got 3.
3. Is there 5 runs on the scoreboard, or does that say 6?
6.
Does it say 6? I need to have my eyes checked, if that's what the case is, honestly.
Well, there's glare out there because
I
there's
know.
the sun, and you're not used to seeing the sun.
Oh, is
so
that what it is?
I'll give you an
So that is a 6 out there. I'm looking at my score sheet. I got 6, and the scoreboard is reading 5, but well, nonetheless. And meeting in the mound, Seth Zartman's going to talk over pleasantries, and the final pitch count on Peach will be 27.
I got 6.
And Seth will come back and he's not going to make a change?
Yeah.
No, he's going to bring in Sean Luzon. Okay, so Sean Luzon is in. And let's take a look at the numbers on Sean Luzon. Luzon on the year is 0-1. He's appeared in 3 games as a pitcher now with this one. He has 1 start underneath his belt. An ERA of 4.50. 8 innings pitched, giving up 10 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned runs, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts, 3 doubles. He's given up a total of 40 total bases. Teams are batting .303 against him. And he comes in here with 1 out in the 8th inning. The Foresters with 6 on the board. And 3 in the 7th and 3 here in the 8th. So those runs will be credited to Peach, correctly, if I'm wrong. There's Stephen.
They're all the Peach's responsibility.
And Boback officially was responsible for his 3, correct?
Right.
My numbers are right. So.
That's correct.
And now the 4th pitcher of the afternoon for Coach Zartman. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this game was 1-0 Bethel through 6 innings of play. Now it is 6-1 Huntington. And if you look at Huntington on the year, they have been a pretty good late inning team. As a matter of fact, if you look at their overall innings, they have scored more runs in the 6th inning than any inning. And in the 7th, they've scored 18 runs in the 6th inning and 14 runs in the 7th inning in their games thus far this year. Here's Luzon with a pitch, and that'll be a strike. Runners at the corners. As once again, it's Gustavo Bonilla batting. Sean Luzon, the right-hander, looks over his shoulder. There's a pitch a little low. Now the count of 1-1. Peach officially done with 27 pitches. Sean Luzon, a spot starter reliever. Fastball curve, changeup. Backup infielder, also used as a courtesy runner on occasion. Went to Villa Park High School, Orange, California, a 6'1", 180-pounder. Wearing jersey number 12 on it. Here's a bunt attempt. Comes down to the first baseman, throws to runner will score. RBI for Bonilla. He'll take that. McCutcheon moves on over to second base. And now 4 runs in the inning. We'll call that 3-1 on the play. And now McCutcheon is at second, and we'll move to the top of the order now. Donovan Clark. Runner in scoring position with 2 down. He fouls one back and out of play. Clark, who's stretched the Pilots defensively when he's been on the base pass. Every time he's been on base, he's stolen base. He's got a pair of swipes today. Luzon delivers this pitch inside. Clark gets out of the way. Now the count at 1-1. The 1-1 scenario with 2 down here in the top of the 8th. Pilots trail 7-1. Luzon, pitch a little high. Now the count at 2-1. Steve, how many total stolen bases on the day for these boys in black and dark green and gray?
Half dozen. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3.
Swing.
There's 5 of them. Sorry, 5.
Yes. Clark couldn't catch up to the Luzon fastball. Seven the other day and 5 today. And as Steve alluded to earlier in the broadcast, Huntington right now at 4th best team in the country in stolen bases.
Yeah, that's per game. And they
per
were
game.
2.82 coming into. They were like 50, tied for 50th in totals, but various numbers of games, you know.
Here's your 3-2 scenario to Donovan Clark. Sean Luzon for the Pilots delivers the right-hander. Ball 4. Base on balls. The inning continues. And now the 9th man to bat in the inning. It'll be Colin Landrum. Landrum, sacrifice in the 1st, hit by a pitch, stole a base in the 3rd, base hit in the 6th, struck out in the 7th to close out the fray. Now he has an opportunity here in the 8th to keep the inning alive with runners at 1st and 2nd with 2 down. Swing and a miss. Sean Luzon took a little bit off of that pitch. Joey Burtz warming up for Huntington in the bullpen. The right-hander down there. Here's the pitch. A little high. Now the count at 1-1. The Foresters with a 4 spot here in the 8th have broken open a close ball game. Here's a slow roller back to the pitcher. Luzon picks it up, throws to 1st to end the inning. So we can take a big sigh of relief as the inning comes to a halt. For Huntington, 4 runs on 2 hits. There were 1 error and 1 man left on base. At the end of 7.5, Forester 7, Pilots 1. We'll be back with more of BC Baseball right after this short timeout. Live from Jenkins Stadium. We're glad you can join us here on a sun-soaked afternoon in Mishawaka, Indiana on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
They say growth is a journey and not a destination. At Teachers Credit Union, we agree. Helping our communities grow has been our mission ever since we began our journey in 1931. And supporting our members' growth has helped us to become Indiana's largest credit union. And we're just getting started. Whatever you want to grow, Teachers Credit Union is ready to help. Visit a branch or tcunet.com today. Teachers Credit Union deposits are federally insured by the NCUA, and we are an equal housing opportunity.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do.
Here is a base hit in the left field by the leadoff man, Kawambi Moss, here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Had to cut that one a little close coming out of that break. Apologize to that. And on the first pitch, Moss has his first hit of the series, I believe. That is the first hit of the series for Moss. Mason Love, now here is Moss stealing second base. He's letting the Foresters know that he knows how to run too. Now runner in scoring position as Mason Love probably has the hardest hit ball of the afternoon for either club, a towering double back in the 2nd inning, but it was for naught because he was picked off on a 1-6-5. Here's one hit to the left side, comes up odd for the shortstop, and he throws wide. Runner will take the wide turn. Moss moves on over to third, and that is going to be an error on the shortstop. Steve, you agree with the error?
Yeah.
I always wonder how you scribes come to think of this when you're being the official score. Because as a former infield, I view things significantly different when it comes to some of those things. So runners at the corners, nobody out here for the Pilots in the home half of the 8th. Yes, Luke Adams, who's 0 for 2 this afternoon, had a walk in the 2nd.
Mr. Bowen's the official scorer here. Today I'm not.
I know that. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Here's a quick toss over to first base. 385 straightaway center, 327 left, 321 down the right field line here at Patterson Field. 7-1 in favor of the Foresters here in the bottom of the 8th. Pilots trying to get back in it here, but have yet to be able to push anything across. But runners at the corner, but nobody retired thus far. Luke Adams looking at the 1-2 pitch here against Caleb Landrum, and he strikes him out. Landrum, who came into today's game from an ERA standpoint somewhere near the national deficit. There's your hyperbole for the day, Steve. But he has done a masterful job in relief thus far. And that ERA is going to come spiraling downward. Here's a quick toss. Probably come spiraling downward as much as the hopes as the Democrats had after the Mueller report came out. Boy, I tell you what, we've got a whole bunch of...
Boy, you're going to open up a big old can of worms.
I will today, won't I? Here's a pitch inside, and Now the count of 1-0. Mike Wathier, who is officially 1 for 2 today. And for any comments, don't hesitate to send me an email at pcondry@rrsn.com. Don't bother young Andrew Bowen with those. You can send them directly to me. I'll be more than happy to engage you in any type of those discussions.
There's accountability for you.
That is it. You're talking to the tallest hog in the trough right here. Now they're kind of 3-0. Here is Mike Wathier. Well, you've got a great hitting position here now. Runners at first and third. No, it 1 out, and you got a 3-0 count. Landrum delivers, catches the outside corner. Seth Zartman, all he wants is base runners at this stage. Here's the 3-1 look now with 1 down. Landrum in relief, delivers. That'll be ball 4. Now the bases are full of blue jerseys for the second time in the last 4 innings. That moves Mason Love up to... We have a pitch runner for Mason Love up there? I think we do. Is that Seth Kermode? Yep. It is. Okay, I'm going to make sure I got that in there. Here's a strike now here to Jake Shalaski. So Kermode running in the 8th. And here's a pitch, 1-1. I'm going to say hi to my good friend Don Sturgeon, listening today, my prayer partner out there in Hagerstown. Coach, I had a chance to talk to your former student, Mike Frame, today and pass along your well wishes. He tells me that you were a huge impact on your life, but I already knew that because you've been a major impact in mine. Thanks for your longtime prayers. I'd say, heck, you just don't get in better than the guy listening today, our good friend Don Sturgeon. His nephew, Drew Schaus, and Matt Schaus, 2 of the great Bethel basketball players. Now they're kind of 3-1 to Shalaski. Important time here for Caleb Landry. 3-1, and there's no place to put Jake Shalaski, the freshman right fielder. He's been on base a couple times. Ground ball, slow roller, shortstop, 6-4, and he's safe, run scores. Moss will score the second pilot run. Kermode will move on over to third. Wathier is erased on the 6-4 putout. That'll be the second out there. And reaching on a fielder's choice is Shalaski. And now that'll bring up the 8-hitter in the lineup, Sully Swingley. Once again, Caleb Landrum. The right-hander delivers. That's one right down Main Street for a strike. The freshman left fielder has reached twice on fielder's choices, has a stolen base and a strikeout. Batting from the left side. Quick toss over to first. 7-2 in favor of the Foresters here in the home half of the 8th. Pilots 2 runs on 3 hits and 1 error. Huntington 7-1-3. Ground ball. Third baseman will not be able to make the play. That'll be an infield hit and a run scores as Seth Kermode puts the second pilot run of the inning across the board. As Sully Swingley. Steve, you gave him a base hit on the play. I don't think he would have made the play.
Yeah, that's a base hit. That's an infield hit. Slow roller.
So now runners at first and second. And a change in the lineup for Coach Zartman. He's going to call upon Rocky Beebe, another Crown Point product, the 6'1", 180-pounder. Number 15 will be batting for Laffey here. And taking a look at the numbers for the right-hander Beebe. Batting here, playing his 16th at bat of the year. He takes ball 1. He's played in, this will be his 10th game. It's 3 runs, scores 3 hits, 1 double, a pair of RBIs, 4 bases, and a .267 slugging percentage, and an on base at .294. He takes one on the inside corner for a strike. Now the count at 1-1. Rocky Beebe, the former Bulldog, batting here from the right side, looking at the 1-1 count. Runners at first and second with 2 down. That ball's a little low. Now the count at 2-1. Well, if he can get a hit here, keep the momentum on, you just never know. Beebe looking at the 2-1. Here's the pitch. Outside corner, just caught it. He paints it black. Now the count is at 2-2 to the Crown Point native. Infield at medium depth. Runners at first and second with a good lead. Here's one a little high. A good eye there for Rocky Beebe. Now the count at 3-2. Everybody will be off and rolling now with 2 down on a 3-2 count. Bottom of the 8th. Here's the pitch. Strike 3 call. Caught him looking. Beebe walks back to the dugout, dejected, and that will end the frame. The Pilots score a pair of runs on 2 hits. There was 1 error, and 2 remain. The Pilots now have stranded 5, 6, 7, 9 here in the first 8 innings. We'll move to the top of the 9th. 7-3 Foresters. We'll be back with more Bethel baseball right after this on Regional Radio Sports.
The few, the proud, the Marines.
When your child's in the hospital, the last thing you want to do is to leave their bedside.
If we had to leave the hospital at any time, it would have drove us nuts.
The family room was definitely a blessing for us. We needed to be close to our daughter, and it gave us exactly what we needed at that time.
Make a difference in the life of a family when they need it most. Give to the Ronald McDonald House at Memorial Children's Hospital in South Bend. Donate to our new house at loveshinethrough.org.
Spring baseball, the Metropolitan Steve Craw beat up on my Orioles today, 9-7. Not good.
Was that in Florida or did they?
Yeah, does it make a difference? They lost.
Well,
9-7, right? Does it make a difference where you lose that? A loss is a loss.
I guess not. I mean, they're starting to break camp and playing games up north, even though they're exhibition games. I'm just curious. Lichty, Pritchard, and Tippy-Dodd scheduled for HU here in the 9th. They lead 7-3. That's the Hall of Famer Steve Craw. I'm Paul Condry. Glad that you can be with us today. Across on the other diamond, another Hall of Famer, Matt Copsey, talking it up over there with Bethel softball. Pilots were trailing in that first game of that twin bill, the last check that we had. Daniel Lichty now with a 1-1 count. He misses the mark here on the pitch by Sean Luzon, one of 4 Bethel pitchers we've seen this afternoon here in this 9-inning affair. Right-hander Luzon delivers this one way high. Now the count at 3-1. Now the 3-1 look to the left-hander. Lichty, who's reached base 3 of the 4 times he's been through the turnstiles today. Now the count full on that 3-2 pitch. Reached on an air, scored a run in the 8th.
walked in the 6th and 3rd, respectively. The only time he was retired was he struck out in the 1st inning against the original starter, as Bulbeck was the guy that retired him. And now he's retired again via the strikeout. So 1 up and 1 down is Sean Luzon strikes him out. That's the first strikeout for the Pilots since ending the 7th inning. And that will bring up number 26, Austin Pritchard, the first baseman. A youngster from Riverside, California. Takes ball 1. Riverside, California, the home of one of my favorite pastors of all time, Greg Laurie of the Harvest Crusades. His home church is out there in that neck of the woods. Now here's the 2-0 look from Sean Luzon. Base hit into right field. And a 1-out single puts the Foresters with another man on base. So they immediately got to go to the stolen base. Now this may be an interesting Austin Pritchard, who is going to come out of the game. And now coming in to run. Well, we don't have an 81. So is that a 31?
That's the 31.
So that's going to be Ryan Hale running for Pritchard here in the 9th inning. That immediately says, okay, let's take a look at where Ryan Hale is in the stolen base department. And Hale 4 for 5 on the year. Luzon pitch outside here against Jared Gray. Gray, the last time at bat, lowered the boom on the Pilots with a triple and an RBI. Here's some runner off and going, and the ball is thrown into center field. That wasn't even remotely close. That's a play where Mason Love, just hold on to the ball. You weren't going to make the play at that point in time. And that's a stolen base. You're not going to get him. And then when you had a double clutch coming out of your mitt, that just hold on to the ball. Now the count at 2-0. For Gray. Gray, a freshman, 6'2", 170-pounder, fouls one back to the screen. The former Huntington North High School. If you look at this lineup, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 youngsters from Huntington North High School are part of the Huntington University baseball program. That's talk about keeping your talent at home. There's a pitch a little high. Now the kind of 3-1 to Jared Gray.
Well, they would have known all about Huntington base. They would have known all about Huntington baseball coming up.
We just got disconnected. Did somebody do something? All right. We had some technical difficulties coming out of that last play. The count remains at 1-0 with 1 down. Here, Steve, I tell you what, in all the confusion of the technical difficulties on the audio portion of our broadcast. We have runners at the corners. And now with one down.
Pinch runner Ryan Hale is on third base with a couple of stolen bases after singling. Or after Pritchard singled and Hale ran for him.
And now here's Luzon delivering. Swing and a miss. The big number 7, Jacob Hansen. Now the count of 1-2 to Hansen. Here's the 1-2 pitch. With one down, runners off on the double steal attempt. Foul back to the screen. Count will remain 1-2. On deck, Satchel Wilson for the Foresters. 7-3 ball game here in the top of the ninth. Pilots, who had an early 1-0 lead, only to see Huntington erupt for 3 in the 7th, 4 in the 8th, and now they're getting greedy, trying to get some more here in the 9th. Understandably, against Sean Luzon. Here's a runner off and going, a swing and a miss. Here's a throw down, and the runner steals a base. As Hansen strikes out for the second time this evening, that'll be the second, and that will be the second stolen base of the inning. And correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, and I know you will, the 7th of the game now in the stolen base department?
There's 8, actually.
8, okay. Thank you. That's what I expect of you to correct me. My scorecard looks like a bomb went off. Here's a ball popped up. Sean Luzon says he's got it on the mound, and then the shortstop comes in, and Luke Adams makes the catch to retire the side on one pitch. In the inning for Huntington, they threaten but do not score. No runs on a couple hits, and there were no errors and a pair left on base. At the end of 8 1/2, I'll give you that line score. 7 runs on 8 hits and 3 errors for Huntington Pilots. 3 runs on 4 hits and 1 error. We'll be back with more Bethel baseball right after this short timeout on Regional Radio Sports.
They were outnumbered, out-equipped. They had no chance of winning, but they had one huge advantage: General George Washington.
The fate of unborn millions will now depend, under God, on the courage and conduct of this army. We have to resolve to conquer or die.
Just as the leadership of one man helped form a nation, today leadership can transform the world. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Centeer Bank is Indiana's largest private family-owned bank. Since 1895, the Schrag family has built a legacy of success through business and by servicing the communities of northern and central Indiana. Centeer's not-for-sale promise pledges to the communities we serve that we will continue to preserve independent banking in Indiana for generations to come. Centeer Bank is proud to serve the communities of northern and central Indiana. Please visit Centeer.com for more information, and don't forget to like us on Facebook, member FDIC.
Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports to the home half of the ninth. It'll be the Pilots at the top of the order to get the party started here. They're a 7-3 trailer here in the ninth inning. It'll be Wilburn, Diss, and Moss. 1, 2, and 3 matched up against Caleb Landrum. And Caleb gives up a slow roller to the first baseman, and he makes the unassisted play there. 1 up and 1 down. And that'll bring up Brandon Diss. Well, this is going to do wonders for the confidence of young Caleb Landrum to be able to come in after getting shell-shocked the first couple appearances of the year, and for him to come back in here and get some quality pitches in against a formidable group. Certainly will bode well for the right-hander moving forward. Here's a pitch inside. Gustavo Bonilla with a butterfly, kick save. Brandon Diss on the afternoon, 0 for 4. 3 ground outs and a fly out from the left side, and he takes a pitch outside. Now they're counted 2-0. Waiting in the wings, Kawambi Moss. And here's a pitch for a strike. Now the count at 2-1. Pilots will be back in action tomorrow against IU South Bend here at Patterson Field at Jenkins Stadium. Against Indiana University South Bend, we'll have a chance to see them play for the first time. I will, of course, Regional Radio Sports is also the voice of IU South Bend Sports. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Ground ball, second baseman. On second hop, throws out the runner. 4-3. And now the Pilots down to their final batter here in the ninth inning. And they'll leave it up to Kawambi Moss, the junior center fielder. 1 for 4 today. Scored a run, stole a base back in the eighth. Prior to that, he was 0 for 3. Caleb Landrum. Here's a breaking ball, missing the mark. The pitcher of record, Steve, in this one. Who would have ever thought? Here's the pitch. Outside corner for a strike. Now the Pilots down to looking at a 1-1 scenario. With 2 down. Breaking ball straight up the middle. Pilots won't go quietly here into the afternoon as Kawambi Moss extends the inning with his second consecutive hit. And that'll bring up Mason Love. Love on the afternoon. Reached on an air, scored a run in the eighth. Doubled, erased on a base running error in the second. And a foul fly in the fourth and retired on a ground out. And here's a Moss picked off to win the ball game. Kawambi Moss was picked off on a toss from Landrum to Pritchard and will score it 1-3 for the final out. That'll do it for the Pilots. No runs. There was 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. Once again, the final line score, 7, 8, and 3 for Huntington, 3, 5, and 1 for the home team. We'll be back with the totals right after this on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
There's always a moment of truth where it's either put up or shut up. We were yelling our hearts out. Even in our weakness, even in our pain, we continued to push. I don't know where the pain went to, but all I know is that I had what it took. I am a United States Marine.
PFC Darrell Willis serves his country as a Marine. Will you? Visit Marines.com or call 1-800-MARINES.
Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. The teams down below will get around together and pray. We'll take a moment now to go through our final numbers. Once again, Huntington 7 runs on 8 hits and 3 errors. Huntington on the day will end up stranding 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 men left on base for the visitors. The Pilots 3 runs on 5 hits, 1 error. And the Pilots will end up stranding 3, 4, 7, 9 batters. Let's go over to Steve for our final pitching totals in the ballgame. Steve?
The winning pitcher in relief for the Huntington Foresters is Caleb Landrum. He pitched the last 4 1/3 innings. He gave up 4 hits, 2 runs. He walked 2 and he struck out 3. He ended up with 61 pitches. Mason Shinneberry started. He threw 96 pitches, pitched 4 2/3 innings, gave up a 1 run, 1 hit, walked 4, struck out 3. For Bethel, they used 3 pitchers. Andrew Bobeck was a starter, and he took the loss. He pitched into the 7th inning. So in 6 innings, he had 4 hits, 3 runs, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts. Jose Madrid also pitched, and so did
Matt Peach.
And then Luzon finished. It was, like I said, Bobeck was the starter. He went 96 pitches. Madrid pitched 13 pitches, 27 pitches for Peach, and then Luzon finished it out.
All right, for Huntington, they'll be matched up next time out on the 29th, where they're going to be on the road down at Winona Lake to take on the Grace Lancers. Pilots will be in action again tomorrow. One game, 9-inning affair against IU South Bend, so you can join us here for that game. Huntington improves to 11-7 on the year, 7-2 in the Crossroads League. Pilots fall to 8-13 and 4-5 in league play. Special thanks again to our team here, to Andrew Bowen, along with the talented Landon Kaufman. Great to see my Hall of Fame sports writing friend, Steve Craw, with us here today. And we're going to bid you adieu from our broadcast location. Once again, final score, 7-3. Huntington defeats Bethel. We'll be back with you again tomorrow for both baseball and the McDonald's All-Star Game here on Regional Radio Sports. For all of us, for Coach Seth Zartman and Mike Frame, our special guests on the pregame show, I'm Paul Condry. God bless you all. Semper Fidelis. Good night from Jenkins Stadium on the campus of Bethel College in Mishawaka, where the Pilots lose to the Foresters 7-3. Good night, everyone.